I had to go live on this.
Oh, geez. Oh, I need to cut his nails.
Oh.
He's digging into my scalp.
Oh God. Oh, he is over the top today. Shepard is killing Nick. He's trying to eat Nick. Oh my God. Nick, you have a little something on your head there. It's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, you got it. I think he unplugged your headset. Did he turn it off? Or did he just kill it?
He muted it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you? Anybody want turkey? Yeah, I inventoried turkeys yesterday, and now I got one of them in my actually defrosting because they are frozen solid. They're frozen to minus 11 degrees Celsius. So they are absolute bricks right now. So I'm going to defrost one, which will probably take 3 days, even out of the freezer. It's still going to take 3 or 4 days. And then it's going
to defrost?
Yeah. I pulled one out at 2:00 in the afternoon, and then I brought it home in the car. And then when I came in, I got distracted. I put it down was in a box. And I put it in, dumped it in the living room floor. And I forgot it was there until I went to bed at 1:00 in the morning. So it was out from 2:00 in the afternoon till 1:00 in the morning. So 11 hours. And it was like not even like remotely soft. I mean, it was still as hard as it was when I got it. When I pulled it out of the freezer. Yeah, no, they're minus 11 degrees is like practically cryogenically frozen. So I want to, before I sell them, I got to at least test one to make sure that they're all good. I can't imagine they wouldn't be. In fact, I'm probably just going to sell them tonight. So, yeah. That's it. That's what's news. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
I mean, we spent yesterday basically cleaning the apartment and cleaning everything out. Not cleaning everything out, but like putting away a bunch of stuff, making room. I'm gonna open the screen a little bit. You can see
the Peloton is now moved.
The Peloton is now moved to the window, what should be, and the Yugo.
Did we ever show the Yugo? Did you ever show that on air? What the Yugo was?
I don't. Maybe not.
Okay, y'all want to see the Yugo, the infamous Yugo, Nick's Christmas present that finally got to him like 3 weeks ago? This is and I don't know if it shows very well. This is a wood card relief map of the Elden Ring map.
Yeah.
And that was what I purchased. Man, that's awesome, isn't it? Look at it, freaking awesome. So I purchased that on Etsy from a company called Zeewood, Zeewood. And they don't do the Elden Ring maps anymore. Now they're doing like Harry Potter maps and stuff. But that was done. I didn't realize that it was a Ukrainian company. And why am I not in here? I didn't realize it was a Ukrainian company when I did it. So it had to be essentially made, and they make them when they're ordered. So it was being made after I ordered it, and then it needed to be shipped by rail and car out to Poland so that it could be flown.
No, it wasn't rail and car. It was a little 15-year-old boy who had it in a backpack. hitchhiking
running,
along the street.
ditching, running like serpentine all the way across Ukraine to get to dodge the bombs and the
Uh-huh.
drone strikes.
He had
Yeah.
to cross no man's land.
Hmm.
It's like if you ever seen the movie 1917, it was a lot like that.
Yeah. 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 World War I front lines. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Running through to get there. And it didn't break into Russian tea cake crumbs. No, it did not. Yeah. It's really cool. So I'm glad that you're going to be putting that up.
Yes. What's cool is we're gonna be replacing the quilt.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put the quilt over the computer monitor in front of me. And then because I'm mostly using this office now. Now that we got a nice monitor here and Rachel keeps going into the office, this has kind of become my office.
Nice.
So because I do podcasts, I'm gonna put the Yugo up there.
Hmm.
It's gonna be in the middle. On one side is going to be one of those Japanese style
Oh, yeah, the video game Japanese.
yeah, what are they called? Woodblock prints
Yeah, woodblock prints.
of Elden Ring. And the other one will be
Are you gonna make an Elden Ring shrine?
no, because the other one is Sekiro.
Okay, good.
So it's basically a FromSoft shrine.
Yeah, nice, nice. So, yeah, I got no interesting things that have happened to me other than,
Okay. Well, okay. I will say, and I'm only bringing this up.
but
I'm only going to bring up Three Body Problem again in the context of another show I started watching.
okay.
Because one of the biggest criticisms of Three Body Problem was that, like, oh, the characters aren't that complicated. They're kind of flat. They're kind of simple. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Like that's true. But the mystery at the center of the show is so compelling that, like, it's not really an issue. Contrast that with True Detective Night Country that I started watching.
Okay.
Which by all accounts has been critically acclaimed. And I was really excited to see it because it's murder mystery that takes place in like the frozen ass end of Antarctica. And
Mhm.
I'm always for a spooky show in the snow at night. The central mystery is like a goddamn horror movie. A research station of scientists disappears. All the scientists of a research station disappear.
Okay.
And only an Inuit native woman's tongue is found under a table. But other than that,
How do they know that it's an Inuit woman's tongue?
because there's scars on it from like licking fishing lines. And so right
Oh,
away
okay.
when the people is like, that's a native woman's tongue. But other than that, no violence, no blood, no foul play, nothing. Everyone just disappeared. By the end of the first
It's the
episode,
tongue, isn't it?
by the end of the first
Possessed tongue.
episode, they find the people. They find the scientists. Out in the ice, frozen,
Mhm.
naked, crawling over each other with like their hands covering their faces, frozen in terror. Like they were crawling over each other to get away from something and then flash frozen in an instant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is a goddamn compelling mystery. And the show keeps showing me the personal lives of the two detectives on this case. And I'm like,
I
you.
don't care.
I want to know. I want to know the answer to this, like, the Thing
I'll be right back.
mystery.
Yeah. I'm
Like this
listening.
Cthulhu level thing. I want to know what fucking happened. I don't care about, this one detective, like, oh yeah, she keeps sleeping with this guy and he wants to get to know her more, but she doesn't want to get to know him. And he's like, come on, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you. I'm like, I don't. I want to know what happened to the guys. That's it. That's it. Please get to the fucking plot. And so I kept thinking,
So you're saying to yourself, God, the nice thing about Three Body Problem is there's no character development.
yes, like as I was watching True Detective, I kept thinking, like, you know what? If I have to have it one way, I want the Three Body way. I want a mystery, and then I want you to answer that and give me another mystery, and then answer it and give me another mystery. I don't want you to like tease it out. I'm like, oh my god, this is taking
Just
too
get
long.
over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm still not gonna watch Three Body Problem.
You should, because like it's actually generally good, genuinely good.
Not gonna
Um,
watch it. I've got way, way more other things to watch that
oh
are
you,
on my wish list, on my
all
watch
your
list.
8,000 episode, hour and a half long Korean dramas.
Yes. Actually, no, I'm binge watching My Hero Academia again because I
Mm,
watched it as much as they had available. I believe it was on Adult Swim very long time ago. And then I stopped. And then new episodes came out and it's like, it's been a while since I watched it. I want to catch back up. I got to watch that again. It got to be so long that I forgot the storyline.
mm.
So I've now, since it's now available on Netflix. But I will say this about My Hero Academia, the dub, not the sub, but the dub, because I kind of like it as a dub.
Look, dubs are good now. Like
Dubs are
this is
right.
this isn't an argument we should be having.
No, no, the
Dubs are
dubs are
good.
good. But I will say this, the dubs in that show, whoever did the sound did a terrible job.
Oh,
I can barely understand what everyone's saying because they've
really?
put so many effects on it and the mix is all muddy and it just all goes into each other. And I keep on thinking, am I getting deaf? It's like my mom where it's like, turn off the TV. I can't hear. And I turned it up and I still can't understand. And it's like, no, no, it's just really badly mixed.
Hmm.
Really badly mixed.
I can't remember if I saw the dub or the sub, but I know I watched a bunch on Funimation.
And then it was
Um,
probably the dub.
yeah. And I was looking at Netflix, and Netflix only has the first 4 seasons, and
Yeah, it only has the first 4.
I was like, damn it, I think I've seen all those.
Yeah, yeah, I probably have too, but I've gotta go watch the other 3 because according to AC Ray, thank you very much, the new season set to
Yeah,
premiere May 4th,
June
so I
7th.
will probably be able to get through all 4 and then find the other 3 and then be ready for May 4th, but
Hmm.
beside the point is that, God, the dub is so the dub translation is fantastic because unfortunately, on YouTube, you have a choice of Japanese, Japanese with subtitles, English subtitles,
Hmm.
English, English subtitles. But the thing is they put the
Mm.
subtitles that they put on the English subtitles are actually the Japanese dub subtitles. So
Oh,
it's not the
yeah.
same. You're not reading
Well,
along with what they're saying because, of course, the English translation is not very different, but I mean, it's all the same, but it's
yeah.
way more
It's the
colloquial.
it's the English dub versus the Japanese translation, and
Right,
I I
exactly.
I kinda like that because that gives you a little bit of a peek behind the scenes.
Right, that you understand that it's like, "Oh, yeah, the English sub is an English dub is not just somebody in English reading the Japanese sub.
Yeah.
It is very different, and the English dub language is very good, but the mixing is so bad that I'm hearing, like, maybe 60% of
Oh,
what
jeez.
I'm hearing because I cannot fucking I'm in the section now where it's the athletic, like, the athletic,
Mm,
festival, the athletes feast festival, right? The
mhm.
sports festival, and the announcer, I forget what Radiohead, was that his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the one that's the quirk that is the sound, the radio guy, and he's always the one that does the announcement. They put so much reverb onto his voice and then haven't backed it off enough so that you can hear what he's actually saying. I don't understand 90% of what he's saying. And everything else is just so muddied up with the sound effects, and it's just a really, really bad job. Really bad job. A almost, dare I say, appallingly bad job. that no one,
Okay, I
because
might
what
have to
clearly,
check this
clearly
out
what
just
this
to
person
see.
did is that they mixed it in their headset and then they never played it over TV or over like speakers.
Hmm.
I'm sure if I had it in my headset and I had his particular rig tweaked exactly like his rig was tweaked, he or she could hear it. I'm assuming it's a he because a woman wouldn't do that. Sorry, to make these stereotypical judgments, but let-
Sexism.
it
This
is.
is
It is.
the
But
GameHounds hates men.
it is.
Shut up, Siri. You're against us.
Excuse me. Seriously, like, excuse me? Can you say that again, please? Um,
Hey, Siri, go to hell.
fuck off, sorry. It's that person, whoever did it, never actually listened to the mix after it was. Now, it could be that that person never had the chance because of for a multitude of reasons that may or may not have had anything to do with him or her. But still, somebody needed to listen to that before they released it into the wild, and they didn't. And it's awful, and it's so fucking frustrating.
Hmm.
Because of course I put on the subtitles, and it doesn't help.
I mean, it gives you, like, it should help. It's still giving you all that information, even if
It's
it's not
giving you
word
all
for
the
word.
information, but I'm hearing one thing, and it's completely different words at the same, below it. It's very
Mhm.
hard to read different words than
Hmm.
what you're hearing. It fucks with your head, at least with mine. I can't. I either read or I can listen. I can't do both at the same when
Fair.
they're reading two different things. Like if I'm reading and hearing, like I'll do that with like some of the English shows. Fuck yeah, I'll throw on because there sometimes the dialogue is very hard to hear when it's a lot of people talking over each other and also very low, like low voice. When they're just talking like this, it's sometimes very hard to hear them.
Hmm.
So it's nice to be able to just throw the English dub underneath the English, but you can't do it because you're not reading what you're hearing.
I don't think that's just an anime thing, because I remember Rachel was telling me long ago she tried to watch Money Heist, the
Mhm.
Spanish language show.
Yep.
And she had I think she had the subtitles and the dub turned on, and she was like, "This is impossible because their mouths don't match what they're saying, and the subtitles don't even match that." And it's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
it is too much, too much. And
It's
so
too much.
I've told her, like, I really want to see that show because I've heard good things about it. We'll just watch it in Spanish. Like, we'll just do that.
Yeah, watch it in Spanish and then read the subtitles. Don't watch it in English and then read the subtitles if the
Yeah,
subtitles are just a translation of the dub or the sub.
yeah.
So,
Uh,
yeah.
I will say another good show that I've started seeing. For the, like, one other person out there that has Apple TV, Mystic Quest is actually a really sweet, fun show. That's the workplace comedy that takes place in game developer.
I've been wanting to watch that. I've had that on my list of something to watch, but I don't have Apple TV. But that is
Hmm.
on my list to absolute. Like, I will get Apple TV to watch it because I hear it is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The first couple episodes are like you can kind of tell that it's trying to find its footing and trying to figure out how the characters interact with each other, but then it, like, really quickly hits its groove and it becomes just like a good, sweet show that manages to have, like, moments of genuine drama and, like, emotional human connection while also just being a wacky workplace comedy.
Mhm.
So yeah, Mythic Quest is really fun.
Subs for the win. Even Ninja Kamui, which is a collaboration with Adult Swim, is better in That it's better in Japanese.
Ninja Kamui, that
Possibly,
sounds familiar.
but
Is that old?
the My Hero Academia dub is not bad. Not bad at all. You know what? I am really thirsty, and let me go grab a glass of
No,
water.
that's
I'll be right
new.
back.
Okay, what was another anime? Something like Kamui? Kamui? Oh, uh Golden Kamui? That was a show, right? It was like took place in olden times. I don't remember exactly when, but it was like this Japanese guy and like this kind of native Japanese girl from up north working to find some hidden treasure. Golden Conway, was that it? I don't remember if that was the name, but I remember the show, and that was like a really good show. I That's what I thought you were talking about for a brief moment, just because the last word is similar. Okay, yeah, I got the right one. Yeah. Hmm. I wonder what the difference is between those words. An I and a Y. Okay. Let me see if I can Google this. Kami versus Kamuy. The exact relationship between the two words is unclear. Modern Japanese kami may have derived from kamu, pronouncing kamway. Oh, and then being borrowed into Anyu has kamway, and Anyu was the girl from the north. So I wonder if it's actually the same word, just like an old timey spelling of it. Interesting. Anyways,
Voice Hero, thank you. Voice Hero is the guy's name, not Radiohead. I was thinking of Eraserhead. No, yeah, Voice Hero. Present
mm,
Mike. So yeah, his whoever did them, and so fucking annoying, so goddamn annoying. Oh my god, so annoying, so annoying to have a bad mix.
well, have you played any games? Or have you just been trying to
Yes,
sell turkeys?
I'm trying to,
You've
little of
just
both,
been you've
a
just
lot of
been
both.
wandering around with turkeys in your trench coat, walking up to people. Hey,
Buy a turkey. Hey, anybody
want
want
a
to buy a
turkey?
turkey? I have been playing. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, it's been a while. Let's do this first. First, let me answer the phone. You go ahead. Be right back.
Is that the phone?
That's my phone.
Oh wait, I hear a phone, and then I heard like an air horn.
That's my phone.
Oh, oh, okay. Well, I'll talk about what I've been playing. I have been playing, no surprise, uh, Helldivers and what is it? Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 continues to be really, really fun. I've got to this really good part in it where I'm doing a series of quests in the capital to basically like expose a plot against me. Because within the lore of the game, I'm the Arisen, and the Arisen can control pawns. And the Arisen is like meant to kill the dragon. And so the Arisen is like this hero figure within the world. Well, I get to the capital and I find that there's already an Arisen there. And like the Queen Regent is kind of supporting this Arisen. So I'm working with the captain of the guard to kind of figure out subtly who is this false Arisen. And so I've been traveling to hidden villages on the outskirts of the map that this guy came from to kind of figure out what's going on. I've been sneaking into masquerade balls and like having to find hidden passages, um, sneaking into a bordello to like spy on someone, and it's been a lot of really fun quests that managed like to take advantage of the game's real hardcore lack of direction. So there was like one quest where I'm told, go to this guy's room and find evidence of what he's doing. He's a conspirator in this plot. Find evidence. Well, he leaves his room, and I walk in, and any object you can pick up is highlighted really obviously. So within 10 seconds, I enter the room and realize there's nothing here. Like what is it? And it takes a while of like running around this room, and like literally I'm running up, like kind of outlining the room, waiting to see if a item prompt comes up. And what I discover is a hidden door in the wall. And it's like, oh, that's really, really cool. It's the kind of thing that the game doesn't tell you there's a hidden door. Um, it just says, hey, investigate his room. And when there's not something obvious, the game kind of expects you to look closer, and it doesn't it just doesn't give you that direction. And so when I found that hidden room, I go into it, and obviously there's an item highlighted that's like, oh, this is what I got to find. And it's just really cool to kind of solve this puzzle that's not really a puzzle, but it's like I actually had to stumble across this secret. It wasn't just the game highlighting an objective for me. And I think that's one of the things that I've been digging about it a lot. And so I spent a lot of my time running back and forth from the capital to this other city to try to complete this one particular quest, because I heard that you can romance this one NPC by completing a series of quests, and so I want to complete that series of quests before continuing with the main story. So I've just been kind of running back and forth from this town, fighting a whole bunch of monsters along the way, and like really ranking up all of my character classes to a degree that I started playing it. At first I was a fighter, which is kind of your classic sword and shield. Then I played as a warrior, which is like a big two-handed sword. Then I started playing as a thief. And the thief is just really cool because they're so fast, but they still have a lot of moves that hit really hard. And so now, whenever I fight a big creature, I can jump on it, climb onto their head, plant a bomb on their head, and then jump off, detonate the bomb in midair. And I see them like, oh, stumble backwards. And I can throw a grappling hook to them, grab them, and then pull them down to the ground, and then go and wail on their head while all my pawns are also doing this stuff. And it's just a really, really cool, series of actions that plays completely differently than the fighter. And so I've almost got the thief to max rank.
Oh, nice.
And it doesn't actually take too long. But I'm really excited to try the archer or the mage, because if the thief plays this differently from fighter, I'm really curious to see how different mage and archer are, because they're such very different classes. Yeah, it's cool. I'm still really enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, I can't believe how much of a tongue lashing that this game is taking in the press.
And see, that's weird because I don't see any of that. Instead, I see news stories about how Dragon's Dogma 2 sales have like doubled the original. Like, I don't see.
AC Ray says, I hear bordellas are good for hardcore.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Not wrong. Nope.
But yeah, I don't
hair in my microphone and it's tickling my face.
I don't see this tongue lashing that you say exists.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do this. I was going to do it and then I got distracted by UPS. Hold on a second.
Podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 711. We are recording this on Sunday, April 7th, 2024. Wow. Okay. It's 7/11 on 4/7/24. That's awesome. 4/7. Hey everyone. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. We're already into our show. I'm just doing this because yes, I am going to post this to the freaking stream. I promise. In fact, we met up. Who was it that we met up with? Sly 7. We met up with Sly 7 the other day in Helldivers, and he's like, "Oh, you're still doing your show?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I don't listen to it anymore. I haven't seen it posted on the audio stream." I'm like, "Well, yeah." So I'm endeavoring to do that. I'm not going to catch up with the extra almost 100 episodes that we missed. I'm just going to start again. So, anyway, you were talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. You don't understand why it's getting so much hate because you actually love it.
No, it's that I don't see this hate. Like, I legitimately don't see these articles about it.
Really?
Like,
it's
where
like
are you
nothing
looking?
but all over my
Are you looking
news
at
feed,
Are you looking at
YouTube,
GameStop, IGN, Kotaku,
YouTube,
Polygon?
yes,
Well,
YouTube,
okay,
and
YouTube. People will complain about anything on YouTube.
right, but I don't watch like shows that are people complaining. I watch news
I
shows.
don't know if Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves
Oh,
is any indication.
yeah, no, that's kind of different. Well, Bellular News. I watch Yongya. I would not consider those. They're like sourced reportage, not getting in there and complaining about what they think themselves. So I absolutely, of course, I watch other ones too, but um, I think if you did a Google search right now on Dragon's Dogma 2, you would see a lot of articles not complimentary of it. That there's a lot of anger about it. Just saying. I'm not making this shit up. Are you doing a Google search right now?
Yeah, I see. Starfield lead Bethesda RPG veteran praises Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2's gameplay loop is comfortingly familiar as a parent. Dragon's Dogma 2 review. Capcom's fantasy RPG is a journey worth taking.
Destiny hype, Dragon's Dogma 2 hate, and more gaming opinions. Kotaku.
Yeah, that's a collection. So if I go there, let me see. Oh my god, oh my god, this fucking slideshow. I can't click through the slides. Oh, everybody rightfully hates this Dragon's Dogma 2 NPC.
Dragon Dogma 2 modders removing controversial Dragon's Plague. Let's see.
A lot of guys. There's a Kiro for Dragon's Plague. Dragon's Dogma 2 players warning each other about killer pawns with rotten fish. Modders say, to hell with it, let's just remove Dragon's Plague. Yeah, modders remove its controversial feature. Sphinx riddles. Modders remove.
I smelled the world of Dragon's Dogma 2 and it was putrid. We tried out the GameSense, an AI-powered device that lets you smell your games. It didn't go exactly as planned. Oh, we're looking that one up. What is this?
Oh, I did that. I see that.
Yeah, look, writing about video. And then this is out of Digital Trends, written by Giovanni Colantonio.
Are you ready to test the GameSense?
Look, writing about video games is for a living with some inherent. Writing about video games for a living comes with some inherent embarrassment. Blah de blah de blah. GameSense is a bizarre new product that lets players smell their games. Oops, crap. Come on, go back.
After hooking it up to any gaming device, it uses AI to analyze a game's audio and release one of 6 scents to match what's happening on screen. It's the kind of tech experiment you know is a bad idea the second you hear the elevator pitch, but you feel compelled to try. It's like when a friend asks you to come here and smell it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Hey, taste this. Does this taste weird to you? All right, so despite my trepidation, my curiosity got the better of me, and I assigned myself the unglamorous task of testing the glorified atomizer. I thought it might be a perfect companion for a game like Dragon's Dogma 2. One rancid play session and a splitting headache later, I now live in fear of the black hexagon haunting my apartment. My ill-fated journey began when I was invited to test the GameSense in person and chat with the creators behind it. I stepped into a large hotel suite and sat down at a couch. A black box appeared on the table before me with a glowing bright lights on its side and 6 chambers on its top lid. It's a little ominous at first sight. Not quite evil, but unnerving in the way that 2001: A Space Odyssey's monolith is. I was ready to smell the future. The actual demonstration was short. The creators fired up Far Cry 6 and began running around. It wasn't long before a puff of mist appeared from one chamber. They asked me what it smells like. Is it Is that the ocean? I answered politely, hiding the fact that all I could smell was Axe body spray. They looked a little puzzled, and this response, it corrected me accordingly, saying it was actually forest I was smelling. I nodded along as if that made perfect sense, all the while sneaking in some subtle sniffs to try to figure out what part of that scent even remotely resembled a forest. That's how the game scent works. Each chamber has a liquid vial in it containing a different scent. Each of those scents is mapped to a different soundscape or effect. The device uses AI to listen for certain audio cues in the game, which match a loaded scent, and then automatically release it when it detects one. When the demoist got into a firefight, the whiff of gunfire filled the room. It also smelled like Axe body spray, but with a smokier palette. Okay, so let's find out what happened with Dragon's
Oh yeah,
Dogma
what does
smells
Dragon's
like.
Dogma smell like?
My game set arrived at my apartment while I was away for a week at the game developers conference. The moment I arrived to a girlfriend who had been patiently waiting my return, I excitedly pointed, "Do you know what that is?" I said before cracking open the box and revealing game scent. "Oh God," she said. Let's see. He hooked it up the TV to watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Oh God, my second rejected pitch was that we watch The Passion of the Christ on Easter Sunday. Okay, put aside all this. I began Dragon's Dogma 2. The setup process is complicated. I opened YouTube and put on a 10-hour-long video of machine gun fire. Oh, that's like test it to making sure it works.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. Gunfire is not a pretty smell. Thankfully, Dragon's Dogma 2 is more of a medieval fantasy RPG. We'd mostly be deal with environmental sense. Or so
Suddenly,
we
the
thought.
tuft of hold on a second. Suddenly, the puff of mist from game scent, while white smoke rising to announce like the selection of a new pope. There was a moment of anticipation as it takes seconds for the smell to filter through the room. Then the smell drifted over to me. I took a whiff and my eyes widened. My girlfriend, sitting a little further away from the device, had the same reaction seconds later. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so this is the part about Dragon's Dogma.
Okay.
Has the title screen popped up to some blaring orchestral music, a scent puffed out of the box. It was putrid, smelling faintly of ashes and, you guessed it, Axe body spray. By looking at the app, I deduced that the AI had interpreted the menu screen's epic sound as explosion and let off a fiery smell. What I quickly learned is that testing the game scent in a very large open hotel suite is very different from testing in a small New York City apartment. What was faint during my first test was now all-consuming. The next few minutes were a whirlwind. As I began exploring, scents began popping out seemingly at random. I had no idea what was triggering them. Presumably, the sound of birds must have indicated I was in a forest, but nothing we were smelling really matched up with anything we were seeing. As I recognized things were getting out of hand, I rushed to open the app and press a button to unleash a clean air scent to mask any released odors. It's Febreze, essentially. The moment the smells, another chamber fired off. It was explosion again, despite no such thing happening in-game. So, okay. I don't blame Dragon's Dogma for this. But this does sound like a disaster.
I want one.
Ooh, AC Wraith. AC Wraith. This is what the people game sent. Hire AC Wraith. He has it. This would be nice in restaurant games.
Oh, yeah. Cooking Mama?
Any sort of cooking game.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
who you pitch this to. Don't pitch this with Far Cry 6. Pitch this with Cooking Mama. Oh, jeez.
Oh, your poor, poor dogs. Oh, I know. They would lose their minds. How much is this thing? How much is a game scent?
Oh, I can't believe they're actually... No, wait, it does say. Because earlier they were talking about smell-o-vision and how people actually like smell-o-vision, but theaters didn't want to pay for the gimmick. GameSense more cost-effective $180 price tag seems more practical on paper.
Done. Buying one now.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes. Oh, if I'd have seen this, I would have saved some money on that wood print. That's for sure. Oh, Rachel would kill you. Rachel would kill you. I'm playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm there in the Night City. I don't know about about that.
I feel like it just smelled like a lot of gunpowder and explosions. Which, like, look, if I'm playing Helldivers, I don't want to smell the bug blood. I don't
Racing
want to
cars.
smell the gun smoke. Like, that stuff smells bad. There's a reason.
I
We don't.
absolutely want to mess with this.
Also, why is it only gunfire, racing cars, force, and explosions? Like, that means
Because it was designed by a man.
it doesn't even have the options for food in like restaurant games. Where's steak? Where's eggs? Where's like salt
Cake,
and like burning
cookies,
and yes, where's all the good
burning
shit?
food,
These are all they are showing this
lemon.
off. They're showing this off with all the smells people don't want to smell.
That's what's awesome about it.
Who came up with this?
Oh man. Oh, the rabbit holes this show goes into. Seriously, the rabbit holes that we get stuck in.
Like
We started talking about Dragon's Dogma 2, and now we're talking about what the fuck is wrong with people.
like if I'm looking at Dragon's Dogma 2, like, you know, it's this kind of a life simulator. My character has never taken a bath. Is Game Scent going to reflect that?
Can you imagine what Left 4 Dead smells like?
Oh my god. Any horror game or Resident Evil?
Resident Evil.
Oh my god.
Oh man. So yeah, it's 100. How much is it? Let me go back to that. Let me see
It's
how
like
much
100
this thing is.
180.
Come on.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's right there on Amazon. 149
Ooh,
on sale.
I mean, look, if it had a different set of scents, then maybe. But gunfire, explosions, racing. Racing isn't a scent. Is that like the smell of burning tires? That's also like gunfire.
Oh, it's compatible with VR headsets.
Mm.
Come on, who doesn't want that?
Now, like AC Ray said, if it had different scents, then I could see the appeal. But right now, and many more. Was it? Wait, scroll up. There are 6 chambers.
Yeah.
It lists gunfire, explosions. Wait, go back to the thing. Gunfire, explosions, racing, forest, and many more. It's not many more. It's 2 more. What are the other 2?
I don't know. Let's see. Where does it have anything?
Oh, look, go to the reviews.
Oh, okay. By the way, I'm avoiding what I'm seeing down here as one of the things that it's like related to this item. All right, what are we doing? Reviews. 43 ratings.
I mean, it's above average.
This product does exactly what it says, and I've already updated the firmware to make it more effective. My one complaint is the 3.5 millimeter jack lowers my audio quality, even if I use it as adapter, but that was easily solved. What? Okay. Clearly
Remember,
barely
uses the
done
audio
through any
key.
great at all. The phone application?
Oh god.
The scents are strong and can easily fill a room, but most of them don't smell anything like they're supposed to, except for storm and forest, perhaps. They also have this sickly sweet smell to them that I found personally a little nauseating. I'm doing all what's in the guide on the mobile app, but it's not working. It says to select Wi-Fi network, which I am, and the device would not connect. Everything about this product feels like it's made in someone's garage, from the janky app and instructions inside to the inconsistency on the product itself. Some oil containers are labeled while others are blank. It's obvious this is a beta product being tested by unsuspecting consumers. Great idea with awful execution. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's a video.
Yeah, okay. It looks like a
Yeah.
not a humidifier. What are those things called?
Atomizer, like oil. What are they called? The
Yeah.
essential oil diffusers.
Yeah, diffuser. That's what it is.
Yep. I'm still intrigued.
Look, go for it and tell me how it is.
No, I'm going for it and
I
sending it to
will.
your house.
Oh God.
My nose burns. Where's gloves?
I will wait for version 2.
This machine stinks.
And he gave it 5 stars.
Oh wow. The adapter hurts me. Oh man, I don't know. That's man, I really wish I had $150 to just throw away on something absolutely stupid, but man, this is very tempting. Very
And
tempting.
anyways, Dragon's Dogma 2 is cool. I've been playing that and Helldivers. I excuse me.
Some people
Hell,
are buying it and then selling it for $250 with $6 of delivery charges. Oh my
why?
god.
Why? When you can get it directly from Amazon for 100
Because
less.
people are stupid. was it-
Anyways, Helldivers 2 was cool because they've been continuing to tell a story through their like meta major orders,
Mhm.
and as of today, the automaton threat has actually been eliminated.
Oh, really? Good. I was been playing it quite a bit the other several days, like last week, because I was expecting to see you jumping on, and I
I was
never did.
playing Dragon's Dogma 2 the past couple days.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, I was jumping on, figuring I would see you at some point, and never did. I was really hoping to see anybody, and nobody was playing it on my friends list.
Hmm.
But I've been going into just random games, and I've gained a couple of levels. So
Yeah, that's what you do.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we did, in case you were there on Monday night, Nick and I did play, and I will take the full mea culpa on that.
Mm.
Forgot to start the stream. So we played all night, and then we realized, oh shit, we forgot to stream. So that was on me mostly, but also on Nick for saying, did you start? Not saying, did you start to stream?
I never thought about it.
I know you never thought about it. That was our problem.
But yeah, I will log on tonight so that I can get some of the credits, the medals for eliminating the automaton threat.
Yeah, you should.
But what's neat about the game is now you have to ask like, well, what's next?
Right.
Because you know that we're not gonna win.
It's not over.
No.
It's never over.
Something's gonna come back stronger. And yeah, that'll be cool. And so that kind of consistent, like little bit of storytelling has been really fun to be a part of. And also, I feel like Helldivers 2 has reached this really interesting social level in the game like news reporting ecosystem, where when there's a new change to the major orders, that gets kind of reported on throughout news. Like IGN is reporting on game updates to Helldivers. Kotaku is reporting on updates to the games. Like, oh, the automaton threat has been defeated.
Right. And but
That
they're
gets
doing
picked up
it
as a news
straightforward.
story.
Exactly. They're doing it straightforward as if they're reporting on a real war.
Yeah, well, I just think it's interesting that like Helldivers has managed to keep itself in the news cycle because of these kind of narrative updates, which is
because of the immersion.
a good
They're just
place
it's like
for it to
it's
be.
almost role playing. We're all role playing this war, and including the news outlets are all part of the role play.
Yeah, so that's cool. It continues to be a good game, the kind of multiplayer game that I haven't experienced in a while, where I will hop on, log on, play like 2 games for an hour, and then stop and watch a TV show. And just like that experience of just I'm gonna hop on and play for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see this again. To experience that kind of multiplayer game again.
Agreed. So yeah, I'm enjoying Helldivers more than I thought. I really have to finish. I really have to finish. Baldur's Gate. I really have to finish Baldur's Gate. I'm terrible that I've gotten that close to the end, and now I'm playing something else. See, this is why I didn't want to play Helldivers. I blame you, Nick.
It will never end. Baldur's Gate will never end.
Clearly. So, what else did you play?
That's mainly it. But what I did find out is that my Netflix app on my television now offers video games.
Really? I should look to see if that's the case
Yeah.
with mine.
I was just scrolling through it, and all of a sudden I saw games. I thought, what the hell? So I started playing Reigns, the kind of strategy swipe left, swipe right game.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what you do is you download a Netflix controller app to your phone, and your phone basically becomes a very simple controller. All it has is a virtual control stick and an A and B button. So it's just a stick, excuse me. It's just a stick and two buttons. That's it. Which makes sense because a lot of the games are probably they're like Reigns. It's a very simple game where all you need is left and right. But it worked really, really well. It was super responsive, the controller, which granted probably had to do with the fact that I was playing a very simple game, but I kind of want to experiment with other games. Like I would love to play just a simple puzzle game on my TV through the Netflix app. Like I'd be down for that. So yeah, I will play some more Netflix television games this week and kind of report back on how it went. It was just kind of a cool surprise that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I will look to see if it's that because I love Reigns. I slay at Reigns.
There are two versions of Reigns on my television. There's like Reigns, like Chinese edition, and Reigns, regular Reigns, the original one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm down for that. Anything else?
Slayway Camp, again, another Netflix game that I'm playing on my phone, but I continue to play that just like, yeah. I'm at work and I'm walking around. It's like I want to play something. I'm slowly working my way through all the puzzles in that game. What I will say is cool about Slayway Camp, Netflix and Kill, is that if I'm stuck on a puzzle, I can hit the hint button and it will kind of show me a little layout because Slayway Camp is basically a block pushing game.
Mm-hmm.
And it will kind of give me arrows that says this block is supposed to go there, this block is supposed to go there. And like sometimes that leads me to the solution, sometimes that's the first step of the solution, but like it's a good hint. If I'm still stuck, I can say like show me the answer and it will just show me the solution and I can do the solution and I get credit for passing the puzzle and I get to move on to the next puzzle. And so it's like, hey, are you stuck on this puzzle? Okay, here's the answer. We're not going to punish you at all for just looking at the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really satisfying. It's nice to like not have to worry about being punished for getting stuck on a puzzle.
Oh, that was a good kill. Sorry.
Yeah, you kill one person and they get scared and they run into fire.
Yeah. All right. So anything else?
I believe that's it.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So I wish I had more to tell you other than, working and selling turkeys. Do you want to buy a Turkish coffee machine?
Wait, no.
Okay.
I just got a new coffee machine. I'm happy.
No,
with
Turkish
my
coffee machine is different. It's not a Turkish coffee machine. It's a Turkish coffee machine.
Yeah, I also don't want Turkish coffee. I had it once and it like almost exploded my heart. I don't need that much caffeine.
Yeah, I had 4 cups of it this morning. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then I checked my blood glucose and it was not good.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I can think in 4 dimensions now.
I'm sure you can. It's like in Futurama when Fry had too much coffee and all of a sudden time slowed down
Yes,
and he
time
became part of the Matrix.
yeah. So, I guess we can hit the news, right? No reason not to, right?
Yeah, I'm
Alright.
ready for news. I actually have a lot of like discussion news stories.
Good. I have a couple discussion news stories too. So
Okay.
stand by for that. And let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds News, the news and commentary of the week of gaming with Nick Unicola and Edie Sellers. And our first headline is
Let's get into AI. There was a really, really good newsletter from Stephen Totillo where he was talking with an AI NPC. And you've seen like Ubisoft was showing off like their AI NPC. Other people have been showing off like, oh, look what we can do with AI. These characters talk to you and they don't have a script. And what was interesting is that he said it worked pretty well. He's talking with this, like, it takes place in the world of Watch Dogs. And he's talking with this revolutionary character. And he's like, hey, what'd you do before you became a revolutionary? He's like, oh, I was a florist. And what did you do? And Tortillo said, I was a florist too. And
Tortilla was really a florist?
No.
Oh,
He
okay.
just was making shit up to see
Okay.
how the AI responded. And so the AI is like, another fellow flower level. We'll have to swap stories about our experiences with plants and nature. It's always nice to meet someone who shares the same passion. And now we'll fight together to protect the beauty of nature from the destruction of mega corporations. But what's really cool is next to that AI character was another AI character who's just kind of like listening in. And it chimed in, oh, how original. Another florist turned revolutionary. The resistance is just blooming with floral enthusiasts. I can see it now. A battlefield filled with daisies and daffodils. How picturesque. And like, hey, that's pretty cool, right? Like it's a completely unprompted like dialogue exchange. You got like a sassy computer next to you giving you shit. It's like this is neat. But then he asked the all important question as like, so who's paying for this? Because as he gets into the way all this AI stuff works is that it's all in the cloud basically. When you talk to it, your voice is sent to the cloud, sent off to a processing server somewhere where it can use all the super processing that the AI needs to then send you back a response.
Mhm.
All that processing costs money. And notably, the people showing it off were like, we're not talking about that yet. But one of the things they suggested is like, well, we're thinking maybe gamers would subscribe to a subscription service to, cover the costs of all this processing. There's actually a game that Totillo talked about that has come out already that uses something like this called Suck Up. And it actually sounds kind of cool. You play as a vampire who has to talk his way into people's homes so that you can suck their blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's done with that whole AI exchange. You knock on the door, open it, and when you talk to this character, it's doing the AI processing costing money.
Mm-hmm.
What the developer's done is they've basically included a limited number of tokens so that basically you can only talk to people a limited number of times. That limit is like 50,000 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And so they estimate it'll last about like 40 to 50 hours, which for a $16 game, you'll probably never reach that limit. But it's an interesting like thought experiment of, well, okay, I'm going to play Baldur's Gate 4 and it's going to cost me $80 and that extra $10 is going to cover the cost of conversations. And so now if I hit that limit, will I have to pay more
Yeah.
to continue talking with people? Or you could just offload all that processing to your machine. Except what that means is that if you have a slower machine,
You're gonna have slower,
you've got stupider characters.
stupider characters. Yeah. Um, I as much as people are concerned about AI taking over stuff, and a lot of people are being really impressed with how good it is. Every once in a while, I will see something that will make me realize that AI is not there yet. I mean, ChatGPT was a massive step forward, but it ain't there yet.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
to counter Stephen Totila's experience with an AI NPC, I present to you something that I saw this week. Doug. You're familiar with Doug, right? So Doug decided that he would have AI play Pajama Sam.
I saw this video.
And so essentially he would describe to the AI what he was seeing, and then the AI would tell him what to do. And it starts out strong, and then every single one of his AI iterations goes slowly, actually not slowly, gets progressively weirder until they are completely insane and just like talking out in like crazy left field. I will give you an example. I just loaded one up that was the first of the when they realized the very first Pajama Sam iteration had lost its mind.
It's forever upon us on an up and forwards journey, isn't it? Let's continue and row with passion to new mystical soils.
Can you hear
The
it?
problem is Sam is going to get weirder and weirder because he's like training himself to get weirder. I'm just going to go up the road. He's saying he wanted to go up the shore.
Bye, Otto. I'll be back soon.
Okay, I'll wait here.
And this is when
Okay,
he starts to
Sam,
go
you're now in
nuts.
front of 3 trees who look very snooty and sophisticated. What would you like to do?
What a surprising scenario. Sentient trees that they could give Otto a run for his money in a maritime race, as sophisticated as they come. Asterisk heaves a long, unsure sigh, asterisk. However, it might help asking around if they had any leads or seen anything peculiar, asterisk. Steps forward, asterisk. Yeo trees. What's even in a culture deal name if these are really trees? Would you pleasure me with an engaging conversation, man, or maybe even lend me a hand in the process? Anything at all? This town is quite wrought with want and trepidation.
He is sounding less and less like a child.
Hi, my name's Sam.
And that is him getting
You
like
guys know Otto the
fairly okay. By the middle
I'm
of
going to
it,
capture
he's
Darkness
barely
and put him
speaking
in my
English.
lunch.
Oh, if I
Yes,
remember,
well, why
wait,
don't you
the
run
volume's
along and
still on.
play then?
We have important
Um,
tree business to discuss.
what's
Sam,
hilarious
you
about
talked
this
to the
video
trees,
is that
but they just see
he keeps having to kill the AI because it starts going insane. So he's like, we got to take it out back and kill it, and then we're gonna bring back another one, and hopefully this one's smart. And so, what as different versions of the AI continue, he's like, oh, version 17 like figured out this puzzle. Version 17 is smart. Come on, version 17, don't do this to me.
Don't fail us. I believe in version 17. He's going to take us all the way. And it's like, no, eventually they just get so weird.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where was it?
Hi, my name's
Let's see.
Sam.
Really. It seems that these ain't trivial trees. Asterisk, scribbles, cheek asterisk. I'll keep note of that for my database. Possibly learn more languages to start traveling to more obscure countries. Come to think of it, by chance, do you smart, fancy British drowned coat syndrome trees have any gears of superheroic defenses on your gears? My mask, my fusing flashlight, or perhaps even my precious stone-studded backpack. It was recently stolen over here from on Grand Quest while looking for inside info on darkness. And if ye can Yelp, lead me the ropes of success, it may prove most beneficial and bury of me. What you say?
Why is he turning into a pirate? What is going on with him? I might need to restart the chat conversation because he's trained himself to be British. Like, he's just getting increasingly incoherent. He didn't even say anything. If ye can Yelp lead me the ropes of success, it may prove most beneficial and bury of me. It's not that we're not killing Sam, but we're killing like the past 10, let's say, question and answers so that it has a fresh slate. I also think I want to remove that
Oh, if you
rule
can
about
find,
asterisk.
if you could find a video of like highlights.
Oh, I
Like,
wonder if I could. I
Yeah,
might be able to. But yeah,
Doug, just type in like Doug Pajama Sam highlights, and you'll get some.
Doug Pajama Sam highlights.
But
Yeah, yeah.
what I think is interesting about the Stephen Totillo talking about this is that he's basically
hate
giving
him.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
he's basically giving everything the benefit of a doubt and saying, even if all of this works beautifully, someone has to pay for it, and nobody's talking about who's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of an important point.
It is an important point because
You're going to invest all this effort into this technology only to discover, yeah, nobody wants it.
yeah, well, here's the thing is that ChatGPT, if when to make, I'm in the process of trying to make an AI bot, trying to train an AI bot that doesn't go insane to write proposals for my company. I have to pay for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Every-
have to
every
literally put my
prompt.
card on it and pay them a fee every month. And for after a certain amount of interactions, I have to pay additional. So people are already paying for that stuff.
Yeah. And he brought up a really interesting point that I never saw anyone else bring up. Let's say a game comes out that has like an AI character that you can talk to. It's going to cost EA money, but they do it anyways. What about bad faith actors who are just going to spend 6 hours talking to this AI,
To fuck it up.
racking up a bill? Not even messing up the AI, just racking up a massive bill for EA.
Yeah.
What if an indie game came out with an AI and all the people like, this game's too woke, we're going to talk to the AI for 8 hours each day and bankrupt
Right.
this indie studio?
We're gonna connect this AI to our Alexa and just have them talk to each other
yes!
for hours.
Yes.
Or a Google bot.
The darkness is really getting to me.
Can we put him down? Do we put down Sam? He's ripping his own hair out with his fingernails. The boy is fucked up. He needs help. If we wipe his memory, it still has the context of who he is and what's going on. He's just going to forget the last like 20 minutes, and I'll remind him. It's like 50 first dates. It'll be a kind thing we're doing for him by wiping his memory frequently. The boy is incomprehensible. He's never going to skip land. This is for his own good, chat. We're probably going to have to do this on a frequent basis.
And they
He's
ended up
our
having
son.
to do 25
He
of
still
them.
will exist. It's just
I apologize if my responses appear incomprehensible. I am programmed to follow the rules provided and provide responses in character as Pajama Sam would.
he doesn't want to die. I accidentally pressed the button, so he was listening to me that whole time. Fuck. We have to end it. No. This is for your own good. Okay, resetting the code. This will definitely work, probably. Sam number 4. Guys, he's beautiful. This one is definitely going to work. What would you like to do next?
Whoa, this place is really crazy. But I don't like being around these creepy trees. I don't want to be a tree. I want my superhero gear back. Maybe there's another way to get past this path blocking.
Sam
What if we
sucks.
make a silly face and dance in front of them to distract them so we could sneak by them? Or maybe if we tell them a good old pun, they'll actually let us go. If none of that works, we could maybe try to climb over them or make an angry bird bomb to blow them up. But I have a bad feeling about all this.
This Sam sucks. I hate him.
Yeah, the darkness is really getting to me.
Can we put him down? I hate this one. Whatever. We're gonna run it. He's trying to fucking be a terrorist. He ended that by saying the darkness is really getting to me. This Sam is fucked up. This guy is a disaster. Like we need to get him help, not to send him further in here. You walked back down the path, and now you're at your good friend Otto, the boat. There's also a tree log laying next to the riverbank. What would you like to do? That's it, dude. He's gonna figure it out.
I think I'll take a closer look at this tree log.
He's shitting himself. He's having diarrhea. End his suffering. No, we're not going to murder Sam number 4 until he really deserves it. He's trying. Fuck, he's getting weirder. He's losing his fucking mind. All right.
Oh man, a pound of gold. What are we supposed to do now? I don't remember seeing any gold pieces scattered around here. Wait, would the piles of pennies be enough? No luck, huh? Maybe I can recite the stone door's favorite poem to open it, or mimicking a turtle could work. I have this called the crab secret, which might trick the stone door to open.
What is the crab secret?
Let's give the crab secret a try. But that would still leave this stone door angry and upset. How can I calm the door down whilst also ultimately getting it to open? So also, let's shove a human scale made out of strong pizza or a giant chocolate cake over the door, and let's effortlessly tie a ribbon around its sleek big surface and present it to the door as a gift. Let's think a little outside of the box here. Butter my biscuit, this really is an adventure. Time to give it a shot. Pog.
None of those are options in this game. Butter my biscuit, Sam. None of those things work. The stone door just won't let you over.
This video is really, really good.
It is long. It is like the whole thing is like an hour and 47 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was an hour and 47 minute advertisement, a commentary on how we're okay. We're not going to lose our jobs to an AI anytime soon because, well, two things. One, they're not taking our jobs. But two, if they ever do take our jobs, like heaven forbid some company decides that they want to replace human beings with AI, there's going to be a problem because somebody's going to be a little too confident over whether AI can do something because of all of this like advertising, all of this word of mouth that, oh, AI is amazing. And then they don't actually test it out. And then the AI slowly goes insane and fucks something up really bad, like, sets off nuclear codes or something because it wants to like make a chocolate cake out of nuclear bombs.
So that's a good segue into my other news story.
I said that. I pitched that up for you because I could see the headlines. I pitched that up for you. I did that on purpose. Do I get credit? Do I get credit for that?
You do.
Okay.
You get a cookie.
Okay.
Xbox is working on an AI support chatbot.
This is going to be a recipe for absolute disaster.
So on
I don't know. Butter my biscuits. I think that's a bad idea.
Pog.
Asterisk. Pog. Asterisk.
On April 2nd, The Verge reported that Microsoft is testing an Xbox support virtual agent. And basically,
that's not really hard. They already have virtual agents, and we have all used them, and they're all useless.
And like how often do you go to a website and it's like you see the little question mark in the corner? It's like, how can I help you today? And you type in like, I've got this issue. Okay, does this work? No. Okay, call customer support.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I would have done that anyway.
Yeah,
but also
you just slowed me down. Thanks.
It kind of makes me wonder. They're testing this out.
Yeah.
Are they testing it out in beta? Are they testing it out privately? Are they testing it publicly?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
Who fucked up with Final Fantasy 14? Was that a person? Or was that an AI? Who fucked up with the Baldur's Gate banning and moderation? Was that an AI or was
that is a really good question.
And so now you have to wonder, like, is Microsoft
maybe they're already here and making mistakes?
Either their current level of customer support and moderation is so bad that maybe an AI would be better, which doesn't really say much about like their support. Or are they already testing it out and it's already like
that is a really good question. I would imagine it's probably the former, not the latter. That they're testing, they're sticking their toe in the AI waters, and those toes are getting stubbed because the AI is not there yet and won't be for a really long time.
We've had a series of like news stories about how Xbox is like
making weird decisions and banning people for very strange reasons and doing like, kind of like, really? Why did you do that?
Yeah. And so I saw this, we're testing out AI support, and I had to put on my little tinfoil hat.
Yeah. That's not really that tinfoily hat. I would call that maybe wax paper at best. That's not too far out of the realm of real possibility here. Yeah. Interesting.
Next time there's a story about some sort of weird moderation thing with Xbox, Like,
Should
you
we
have to wonder.
try and call them, like call their press office and going, "Hey, we have a question. Was that AI?"
We could.
I think that we should keep a log of weird stuff that AI moderation is doing. And then just present it like, "Hey, I'm not saying that this is happening, but here's the evidence."
Yeah. And I also want to talk about, there was one paragraph in Tortilla's newsletter that kind of made me think of like the grand picture of all this. Basically the guy working on this AI NPC said, like, oh, AI NPCs can make even the most isolating games feel social. He pointed out to me that the world's most popular games are multiplayer. People crave social connection, and
Sure.
perhaps AI NPCs can be a stand-in for that in games full of computer-controlled characters waiting to be talked to. Perhaps this new tech can enable that social experience in all games. And it made me wonder, if we as people are like, we crave social connection,
Right?
but we also hate it so much that we're putting in record number of resources and effort
Yeah.
into simulating it so that
Right.
we don't actually
We have to talk to a
each
human.
other.
Right.
We want to talk to people, but we don't want to talk to people.
We want to teach it somebody that's like a person, exactly like a person, but isn't a person.
And it was just this moment of like, huh.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I could have an AI co-host, I would. I love you to death, Dick, but I would absolutely have an AI co-host because the AI co-host never goes traveling, never goes on vacation.
But you'd have to reset them like every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Pog. Yeah. Asterisk
I
Pog.
feel the darkness coming to me.
I feel the darkness creeping in.
Mhm.
Chat support is a high-tech let me Google this for you app. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
it really is.
much. Pretty much. What is this suck up?
Oh, that was the game that Totila talked about the
Oh.
vampire having to talk his way in.
Got it. It's kind of sounds fun.
Yeah,
to
like
play.
it's a genuinely cool idea.
Yeah. All right, so my first item is speaking of suck ups. Actually, it makes absolutely no sense. There was a very interesting interview with the Embracer CEO this week that was released by Rock Paper Shotgun. So Embracer CEO is Lars Wingenfor. He is the CEO of the Embracer Group. And in this interview, he said a couple of things or clarified a couple of things. One, he got very specific about why they sold Gearbox. And, we all know why they sold Gearbox is because they're hemorrhaging cash because they didn't get that money from the Saudis.
Yeah.
That being said, he also actually went into much more nuts and bolts of exactly what Gearbox's financial situation was and why they really did need to let that go and how it might affect other things or how it is different than on many of the other assets that they own. To start off with, they said straight off that, quote, "We are ending the restructuring program. And at the end of March, we are now looking into the future." And he did add that the divestment of Saber Interactive and of Gearbox were, quote, "two very important milestones." And they're at the end of them selling things. Quote, "We're getting approached on a weekly basis by companies that would like to acquire certain assets within the group. And I've been very clear they're not for sale because they're a very important part for the group, for the group and the shareholders of the group going forward." So they're done. They're, according to Wink & Force, this is it. We're not selling anything else. So the reason why is he said that the Gearbox sale was really based on negative cash flow and how much of a negative cash flow was being generated by Gearbox itself. He said, quote, "It's important to understand why we acquired Gearbox and what the plan was when we acquired Gearbox. Gearbox is one of the best developers in the world, but they had ambitions to entertain the world and grow their business significantly, both by publishing other game titles as well as creating more titles on their own. This was a very ambitious growth business plan over the coming 6 years we agreed into. They were in the middle of that, which meant that we had significant growth CapEx, which means capital expenditure. Money, essentially money they were putting in, which created a negative cash flow. It also added a lot of business risk to the pipeline because, yes, they had a lot of good success with Borderlands, but obviously we had a number of titles that had not been released yet and not proven yet. Now, in the current environment, we decided that this is the best outcome because we needed to reduce our capital expenditure significantly and reduce our business risk. We're not making this deal because we're unhappy with the development of Gearbox, but in the current environment, this is absolutely the right decision for us to make." So it was not that they bought Gearbox with a understanding of how much money they had to invest into Gearbox over 6 years to really make them start cranking out cash. They had to invest a lot of cash over 6 years in order to get it to actually start generating the money back, because they had a very ambitious plan of making their own games and publishing others. Because the Saudi stuff fell apart during that cycle, before they had done all that capital expenditure, they were committed to spending the money, but then they didn't have the money to spend on that specific part of it, which is why they had to offload it. And the same thing with Saber Interactive. That's why they had to offload those two assets in particular. And why they're not looking at offloading anything else, because those were very different business acquisitions. They didn't have to do that. They didn't commit themselves to this massive capital expenditure, this massive investment of cash that they were going to get back over 6 years, 6 years and then going forward. So that's specifically why they got rid of Gearbox and why they got rid of Gearbox at such a massive discount, because it would have essentially sunk the whole ship. And that's what I said when they sold it, was that they're bailing out, they're plugging the holes where they can. And that they're actually, rather than just going under, they're doing all they can to stay afloat. And this was exactly what I expected, was they were doing this in order to stay afloat because they intend to regroup, recoup, and refocus on actually turning this into a profitable company. And the fact that they're doing it, they're at this stage, actually bodes very well for them.
We'll have to see, because
this could be the Take-Two of the future. Remember, Take-Two was literally that close to going under. In fact, I looked at buying the stock when it was like 75 cents per share. Back in 2008, I was looking at that and thought, should I buy some? Nah, they're going to go under. Take-Two was that close, but they did exactly what Embracer is doing. They made some very difficult decisions, very expensive decisions that made them look very bad in the news and sunk their stock price even lower. But it set them up for success.
Yeah, but also Take-Two always had Rockstar. Take-Two always had GTA. Embracer doesn't have a
Embracer
GTA.
doesn't have that. True.
And
I wish I had bought that. If I had bought
Oh yeah.
If I had bought when it was like 75 cents a share or $1 a share, I could have easily dropped $1,000 into that.
Oh, I could have bought Netflix share after the Quickster debacle.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember Quickster?
I don't remember Quickster. What was Quickster?
You remember Quickster? Quickster was when Netflix was still a big DVD shipper.
Yeah.
And they got into streaming, and the streaming got really big. And they're like, hey, we're going to spin off our DVD rental business into its own side thing called Quickster.
Oh,
And their
yeah.
stock went like pew, because everyone was like, this is horrible. Why are you doing this? And I was like, should I buy stock? Nah.
Well, I did. I mean, I think I told you that how I bought the Tesla was I bought $1,500. No, I bought $1,500 of Tesla stock. Remember when the
Thank
Teslas
you,
were
AC
catching
Ray.
fire? Thank you. Remember when Teslas caught fire and it was all over the news?
Kind of.
What was that? Tesla's caught fire. That was really long.
It was pre-pandemic.
Oh yeah,
sure.
it was years before pandemic.
Like 2015, maybe?
Probably. Let's see. The 2013. 2013 was when the first Tesla caught fire. And then it was in the news cycle like every other day. Like Teslas, if you looked at the news, you would think that all Teslas were just spontaneously exploding. And it was just a red herring. It was the news like, oh, another Tesla caught fire. It's like there's car fires every single damn day in this country. But nobody makes a big deal about car fires. But because they were Tesla car fires, they were reporting on it because of the very first Tesla caught fire. And I bought, I believe, $1,500 worth of stock. That's how I bought the Tesla. That $1,500 eventually was worth upwards of $60,000. So I never assume the fact that Embracer is making these decisions, and these very hard decisions that look really, really bad in the press, where everybody is like, oh my God, Embracer is horrible. Oh my God, laughing stock. But, they're still afloat, and they're now, I think, actually might survive and get out of this. The fact that they didn't just completely fold.
I mean, the thing is, sure, they might get out of it, but I don't know how big they'll get because, like, all the studios they have, Gearbox was their biggest studio. Borderlands was like the biggest
but it was a
game
cash
they
cow.
had.
It was a money sink.
But what I'm saying is, they don't have anything in the pipeline that could be a big hit.
Well,
They bought a bunch of B-level developers who never had big AAA games, and it was like, okay, they're kind of banking on the B-tier game. But the biggest thing, they put out Saints Row remake, which kind of flopped. They put out Gollum, which flopped. The best thing that they put out recently was Dead Island 2. And that did really well, but it didn't do GTA numbers well. It didn't do support the entire company.
No, they have THQ Nordic. They have Deep Silver still. Or did they shut down Deep Silver?
I think Deep Silver's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, Deep Silver did Dead Island 2.
Right. They have Vertigo Games. They have Warhorse Studios. They have Coffee Stain.
What are those? None of those are making big games that could help prop up a publisher in trouble.
See, Gearbox is still on this list and they don't have it anymore, at least for right now. They have an awful lot of independent games. I'm going to say don't count them out just yet. Don't count them out. Don't.
Okay.
They may not be Rockstar big out of this after this. They might not be the recovery of Rockstar.
Because all the big things they bought, do they still have Tomb Raider? I think they might still have Tomb Raider. Maybe that's the biggest thing they're doing. But they also put out Alone in the Dark. That may be the biggest game they put out just recently. That just came out. I have no idea how well it did. I imagine it probably did okay, which feels like what a lot of their games do. But they don't have Deus Ex, they don't have Soul Calibur.
But you know what they do have still? As far as I know, Where I just saw it, and it reminded me of something that they have that nobody else does. Where is it? They still have Crystal Dynamics.
No, they don't.
Oh, they sell that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's still listed here on that one. But they have Middle Earth games. They still have the rights to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, except, Lord of the Rings is one of those things that, like, the movies were great. The movies, I will argue, maybe like the greatest trilogy in cinematic history. The movies are great.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing apart from those movies and books have really hit big. Amazon spent $500 million on a show that people were like,
Mm-hmm.
none
Well,
of the games have really taken off. The Shadow of Mordor and stuff
keep
were
in mind,
good, but,
D&D
like,
never really had a really good video game until Baldur's Gate.
that's not true. The original Baldur's Gate was based on D&D. Baldur's Gate 2. There were D&D games like since the
But
80s.
they weren't Baldur's Gate 3 big. Baldur's Gate 3 by far is way bigger than both of those put together.
I mean, part of that is just D&D getting bigger, right? Like,
Well, also what a really, 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 really good game. A really
yeah,
good game.
but like Critical Role wasn't a big thing several years ago. Like, granted, they've been
Oh, it's
going
still-
for like 10 years, but like in those 10 years, they went from little tiny niche thing to biggest channel on Twitch to like we're publishing our own board games, our own comic books, our own things. Like, they've grown and they've helped. D&D itself has grown. Honor Among Thieves versus that D&D movie with one of the Wayans brothers from 2000. Like, you can see the level of like cultural care between
Sure.
those two movies.
Sure.
And so when like a D&D game comes out now, it's kind of naturally going to be a little bigger than it was back then, but like also that's different because D&D is a bit more malleable than Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I feel like personally, this is me personally, I think the Lord of the Rings IP is a trap. People will buy it, people keep investing money into it, and it's a trap because the truth is people love the books, they love the movies, and they don't care about anything else. People don't want to see like other interpretations of that world.
I still say don't count them out just yet. Don't count them out. Don't count them out.
Okay.
The fact that they survived this long after the debacle of what happened with the Saudis.
I mean, I'm not saying
This might be a very different conversation in 5 years.
Maybe. And I'm not saying that they won't exist in 5 years, but like they will never, they're not really in a position to get big. They're in a position to just survive. Which if that's their goal, then good. But with the CEO who went on a buying spree, I feel like his intention is not just to survive. He wants to be like the biggest guy in the room. And I feel like that ambition is at odds with the actual current developer slate.
I think that if he had that intention of, I want to be the biggest guy in the room, and he probably did because he thought that he had a lot more capital to expend for capital expenditures, and he didn't, that the loss of the Saudi money knocked that back a bit. And
I hope it does.
Well, the fact that he hasn't been relieved of duty by shareholders.
I don't know.
Tells me that there's something else going, that he's smarter than everyone is giving him credit for at this point. And I mean, of course, this is somebody who's lost, something like 60% of the money that she invested in Ubisoft, which was not a small amount.
Hey, Ubisoft, they're coming out with the Star Wars game later this year. If that
I'm hodling right now. I'm hodling.
If that game hits big,
I'm hodling. I'm totally hodling right now on that because I really don't want to take a 60% hit on that cash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I keep on saying to myself, it could turn around. It could turn around. Because I was expecting, first off, I was expecting Skull and Bones to be better than what it was, because I thought, because the very first iteration of Skull and Bones that they had was really good, and if they'd have followed through on that, it would have been fine. But then they went and fucked it up. And I would bail if I could at this point, but I'm hodling.
Also, like I don't know why Ubisoft didn't put more advertising into the Avatar game. Like from all reports and everything that I read, every review was like, "Hey, this is actually pretty
because
good."
Ubisoft in a way almost cares more about what they think of a game than what everyone else might think of a game. I mean, this is the company that doesn't want to put out games with girls in it because they don't, they don't want to put out pirate games. They don't want to put out girls with games. And they would have murdered Skull and Bones if they hadn't gotten so much money out of it. And it wasn't because Skull and Bones was a bad game, is that their boys club doesn't want to put out games that they don't want to play. They want to put out their
previously
games
the guy who was controlling that is reportedly, he's been gone for a while now. So
he's been gone, but he's there. He's gone in name only.
The Star Wars game has the main character. So
but it's still a Star Wars game. They aren't going to put out Beyond Good and Evil 2, which would, if they made a good Beyond Good and Evil 2, that game would sell like fucking hotcakes, and they know it.
That first game was just like a pretty good like platformer action game. Like, it's a trap. It's a trap. Ubisoft, don't make Beyond Good and Evil 2. Stop investing in it. It's not.
They aren't investing in it. That's the thing. They haven't put any money in it. The most amount of money they put in was the trailer.
Good.
Why do you say that? Why do you hate Beyond Good and Evil 2? It was a great game. And it has the potential of being even greater.
It was a good game. And I think its reputation is it was a cult hit. And look, Blade Runner is a classic, right? Everyone supposedly loves Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
I think the original Blade Runner kind of boring. But everyone loves it. It was a classic sci-fi movie. It was a massive flop when it came out.
Right.
Then over time, kind of became found by people and became a classic. So what did Fox or someone do? They made a sequel. That sequel, I think, is leagues better than the original. That sequel is a great movie. It also flopped spectacularly. That's Beyond Good and Evil 2. It was a cult hit. That cult hit is like gained notoriety over time, but not to the degree that you could invest AAA money into a sequel. It will not. It is a Blade Runner situation. I am happy that Fox invested all the money into Blade Runner 2049 because I got an excellent movie out of it. It was a terrible financial decision, but I'm glad they made it.
I think that it would be good to spend a good amount of money on it, not a massive amount of money on it.
But based on the few things they showed of it, it would be a massive amount of money.
Maybe. Well, they don't have a massive amount of money to spend on anything these days.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, this is Ubisoft. They're kind of hurting.
They're getting by.
They're
Well, that could actually bring me to a news story that I had that I think is a really interesting news story. So on April 2nd, Newzoo released its annual games industry report. And this is basically a bunch of information about what people are playing and where they're spending their money during 2023.
Mm-hmm.
They say that the PC and console game market grew to $93.5 billion in revenue. But when they drill down into what games people are playing, the top 10 games on each platform are filled with like the same old live service games. Basically, Grand Theft Auto 5, Counter-Strike 2, Roblox, Minecraft, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Fall Guys, Valorant, Call of Duty. But for Ubisoft, to be fair to Ubisoft, Rainbow Six Siege is on the top 10 for PlayStation and Xbox. So they're getting a bunch of money from Siege, but like all these games. Hey, wait, let me open this and I can share my screen because it's a good. Oops.
I was about
no,
to
not
tell me the name of the company. I would look it up, but yeah, you've got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I can't zoom in anymore. But like on PC, it's Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Counter-Strike. On PlayStation, it's Fortnite, GTA, Call of Duty, EA, FIFA, basically. On Xbox, it's Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft. On Switch, it's Fortnite, Zelda, Mario Brothers, and Mario Kart, and Minecraft. Like, it's like the same general live service games over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is, let me. Oh no, I want to find this other. Here, okay. Let me look at the older games. All those older games take up 61% of all playtime in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Of the other percent, what's 100 minus 61?
That would be 39.
Okay, 39. Let's see. Oh, I'm reading this other newsletter I got.
Mm-hmm.
So annualized franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Out of that 23% share of total playtime, where was the 23% come from? Yeah. So 61% of people are playing games that are 6 years or older.
Mm-hmm.
Of that 61%, 27% is just Fortnite, Roblox, League of Legends, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto.
Wow.
So those 5 games are like a quarter of all playtime. Let's see. And then this other newsletter, annualized franchises like Call of Duty, EA Sports FC, NBA 2K are a big chunk of new gameplay. So out of that 23% share of total playtime that went to new games that are released fewer than 2 years ago, yearly franchises accounted for 60%. So that means of the 23% share of new games that people played, games that came out in the past 2 years, annualized franchises were over half of new games.
Mm-hmm.
The top 5, so 5 new games that released fewer than 2 years ago, grabbed 3.5% of the remaining 8% of playtime. Those 5 titles were Diablo 4, Hogwarts Legacy, Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, and Starfield.
Really?
Those games accounted for 3.5% of last year's total playtime.
Wow.
And this last bullet point is really makes you question WB's gaming business decision. New free-to-play titles did not do particularly well. In 2023, only 48 titles accounted for 90% of new game playtime in the US and the UK. So 48 games, basically 48 games are what people played new.
Mm-hmm.
25 of those were live service pay-to-play games. That means you had to buy them initially. 20 were premium games. Again, games that you have to buy with a price tag. The remaining 3 games were free live service games. Basically, the finals was one of the few free-to-play breakouts of 2023. But basically, free-to-play live service games, like, that market is done. It's capped. Like, you've got your major players. You can't really break into that. The finals did pretty good, but the finals ain't going to compete against what were the ones like Fortnite, Roblox, League of Legends, Minecraft, and Grand Theft Auto. So anyone making like free live service games, it's kind of a bad financial investment when you look at the data of what people played in 2023.
Right.
But it also says that like when you're making single player games, things like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate, like they are all fighting for the crumbs of playtime. Because most people are just playing like, Call of Duty, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite. Like those are the games that are just sucking up playtime like a
Right.
vacuum.
Right. So I downloaded that report.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to actually reading that whole report through because looks really interesting.
Yeah. The newsletter that I subscribed to was called the Game Discoverer,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually a really good newsletter. But they made a point of saying that like last year, Newzoo's report on the industry was like a little rah-rah of like, hey, everything's cool. Yeah, let's go. And they're like, this is a hard shift, from the company that last year when they look at 2022 was all, hey, well, good. And now they're like, hey,
Yeah.
hold
Yeah.
on.
Trying to see if I can get this zoomed in. Yeah, this looks like a really, really, really interesting report that I am going to absolutely read through in a very granular way because I love reports like this.
Yeah. And it's just kind of interesting to see not just where the industry is, but like where the playtime is. Because granted, playtime doesn't equal money. Not like there is obviously a correlation there. If you play something a lot, you're likely to spend money in it, but it's not direct. And so just because someone's playing a lot of something doesn't necessarily mean they're spending a lot of money on something.
Right.
But it does say like playtime is important because that affects, how well your game will sell. And so it's interesting to see that like new games, big hits like Hogwarts Legacy, the best-selling game of last year, is like fighting for 3.5% of like all the playtime of last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where that particular graphic is because that's kind of an important one.
Yeah, I think it's has to do with playtime percent of total hours played by release date. If you could find that.
Total hours played. Does not find it. Yeah, I'm very, very interested in. Oh, I see. They're all locked because of.
Oh, is it the free report?
It's the
You have
free
to
report
pay?
versus the paid report.
Hmm.
There we go. Yeah. The free report is a 52 pages. The full report's 150 pages. So curious to know how much the full report costs. Because, as long as it's less expensive than the Smell-O-Vision or whatever it was, we know where my line is of throwing stupid money away at stupid things. AC Ray says, I have so many games to choose from. I keep coming back to a Robot 9 fight with the occasional Warframe.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So my next item is. Hey, speaking. I don't know. Should I do that? Yeah, we'll do this one. We were talking about Ubisoft and mistakes were made. Well, Ubisoft got trolled a little bit by CDPR, which is kind of funny that CDPR was in that seat and now Ubisoft is in that seat. And bless their little black hearts, the CDPR, CD Projekt Red has managed to really recover and kind of, I don't want to say stick the landing, but at least recover enough on the landing of the whole Cyberpunk 2077 to claw back a little bit of its reputation. And it didn't hurt that this week there was a meeting, a Q&A chat with CD Projekt Red's investor relations vice president, Carolina Nass. And one of the questioners kind of jokingly asked her whether The Witcher or Cyberpunk 2077 would reassess its AAA only stance amid the comments by Ubisoft about quadruple A. Nass responded, and that, and I quote, actually, do I have a quote? Let's see. Yes, here's the quote. Nass responded, and I quote, ours will be quintuple A. So yeah, she said that CD Projekt Red will dare to unleash a quintuple, the world's first quintuple A game with The Witcher 4. And with the Cyberpunk sequel.
I look forward to it. You know what? If Skull and Bones is any indication, like I think
that's not if that's quadruple A, then I'll stick with triple A. Thanks. I'll just have the salad.
You know what? By that metric, I think The Witcher 3 might be quintuple.
So, but also she said that in Witcher 4, they're going to introduce a bunch of quote unquote gameplay elements and new mechanics that were not seen in the original trilogy.
Okay.
And so, yeah, has a lot of good things to say about Witcher 4. And a lot of those questions are obviously being asked because they're ready. People are ready for Witcher 4.
Yeah. I gotta finish Witcher 3. I never
I
finished
do too,
it.
actually. I don't think I finished it. I got to like that last area, and then it was like, oh man, I'm at this way too long. So yeah, maybe I should do that right after I finish
Baldur's Gate.
God damn you! I knew I needed to stick with Baldur's Gate. So anyway, so yeah, expect a quintuple A game from Witcher 4.
I look forward to it.
I do too.
Hopefully, it's better than Cyberpunk 2077 was.
Well, Cyberpunk 2077 was just AAA. It wasn't. It wasn't even quadruple A. So you can't really count that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, let's see. What's another good one? Okay, let's talk about. So many people are playing Roblox. It's one of the most popular games by playtime. Eurogamer
and your neighbor, your literal neighbor, you can see Roblox across the street from your house.
Yes, I can. I can see their sign from my window. The Roblox studio head Stefano Carosa spoke with Eurogamer at GDC. And when he was asked about Roblox's reputation for exploiting younger developers and players, said, I don't know. You can say this for a lot of things, right? Like you can say, okay, we are exploiting, child labor, right? Or you can say we're offering people anywhere in the world the capability to get a job and even like an income.
Children.
So I can be like 15 years old in Indonesia living in a slum. And then now with just a laptop, I can create something, make money, and then sustain my life. It's like, there's a Kotaku article that summarized the interview, and it had a good thing of seemingly realizing what he just said didn't sound great and sounded a lot like he was excusing child labor by suggesting it had some benefits. Carosa then pivoted to explaining that this is just a result of Roblox going broad and having a younger audience, before pivoting again mid-comment to point out the average game dev on Roblox is in their 20s.
Yeah, that's called a backtrack. That's called backstroke. Very furious backstroke on realizing what you just said and how it sounded.
Carosa then pointed out, according to what he's heard, these kids and teens didn't feel like they were being exploited. They felt like, oh my God.
Oh, he should have just kept his mouth shut. He could have made it out. He got so close and then it dragged him back in. Oh, he came so close to getting out of that.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like, oh God. Don't ever put him in front of a microphone again.
Yeah. Guys, if you really need some help, my company is very good at crisis communication, and you might want to need.
But you know what?
Need to hire a little somebody to explain to you how you probably shouldn't be framing things.
But based on Newzo's report,
wait. Oh, that's just a cough.
Excuse me, just a cough. Based on news reports, Roblox is super popular. So, child exploitation, kind of profitable.
Oh, child
Maybe-
exploitation is always profitable.
Yeah. So, maybe EA and Ubisoft should be looking into this.
Don't even joke about that shit because Ubisoft would. Oh, my back. Ubisoft would absolutely do this if they thought they could get away with it.
Ubisoft just needs to make a platform of content creation.
Kotaku should let those kids write their weekly 50 guides.
Yeah, exactly.
We're giving kids in the slum a job. Oh my god.
Is it exploitation or is it employment?
Right.
Let capitalism decide.
Oh, there's a special place in hell. That quote's gonna follow that guy. At least I hope it follows that guy.
Yeah, it's also gonna follow Roblox. Like Roblox is already kind of in the news for being, kind of exploitative. It's already something people are talking about. Enough that when given a chance to interview the studio head, they get asked directly about that subject.
Mm-hmm.
And when his answer is that bad, it's really not good.
I'm really surprised that there hasn't been more discussion within bodies of legislature, especially in California. Maybe not the federal government, because federal government, but California, that fast food workers are now making $20 an hour here, and it's also the home of Roblox.
There was something I saw last week, and I didn't mention it because it was just like a report put out by the federal government, like the FC, maybe not the FCC, I forget who. Basically, it was just a report of the federal government saying, hey, we see that things like Steam and Fortnite and Roblox are kind of like banks, right? They're taking in people's money. They're allowing them to save it, spend it on in-game currency. Like they're creating these whole kind of digital economic systems.
Right. They're NFTs.
Yeah, they're kind
They're
of
the first
acting.
NFTs.
They're kind of acting like big banks, and they're all completely unregulated. The report didn't have any action statement. It was more of just like a
thought
we see
exercise.
You. It's like we see what you're doing, and we're watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah, legislation might not be coming anytime soon, but it's around the corner in congressional timelines, in geologic timelines.
I'm wondering if there is an enterprising California representative of our legislature that might be very interested in changing, because honestly, nobody's going to fight. I mean, everybody's going to fight it that's in the industry, but right now Roblox is known to be exploitive enough that nobody in the public will support them. And certainly because they're a tech company in California, certainly the federal government won't step in.
Yeah.
Just saying, California legislators, you might want to think about a little bit of labor law for Roblox. Nobody's going to support them except people in Roblox, and that's not enough people to get you elected. Just saying. Anyway, I only have one more item, so I'll let you go because I know you have a lot more.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to share another screen.
Thank you for that report. Child Labor Enforcement, Department of Labor. There it is. God, AC Wraith, you are so damn good. Damn, you're good. You know what I should do? I should send you a smell-o-vision.
Oh, God. Why would you punish him like that?
You don't really need that guitar. You need smell-o-vision.
He just says the games that he goes back to are A Robot Named Fight and Warframe.
Think about the smells of those, though.
Can you imagine what Warframe would smell like?
I would play. That would be my first game. If I buy a gamer scent, that would be the first game that I buy.
It's just gunfire and explosions. Not even forest. Not going to get birds.
There's some forest.
You're not
in-
gonna get. You're
there's
not gonna get
outdoors. There's some
racing.
outdoors. There are. I remember there being like a desert area. I remember that. I think that was.
Why would you
Warframe.
hurt him like that? What did he do to us? He's only
Nothing.
supported us.
All right. So
Anyways, this tweet comes in from Matthew Ball, I believe. Yes, Matthew Ball. Just kind of an interesting note that he says the New York Times is now a gaming company based on the basis of customer time spent. And what this graph shows is the purple parts down here are New York Times news. This is like where people are spending their time on the New York Times. The purple part is news. The green is games.
yeah.
And the part up here is the Atlantic. But as you can see, over time, games has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger until now it's actually people are spending more time playing New York Times games than they are reading New York Times news.
Yeah.
I am guilty of this because
Oh.
every day I log on. I don't play Wordle, but I play Connections, which is awesome. And they have a new game in beta called Strands, which is also pretty awesome.
Yeah. I can attest to this that I go down to visit my cousins at the ranch on occasion, and they have several friends that they have visit on the regular, and I see them on the regular. And we all get up, we spend the night, we wake up in the morning, and we drink our coffee, and we all sit at the kitchen table drinking coffee, and all of them are playing New York Times games in the morning. And these are like C-suite level Fortune 500 company VPs and things like that. Very, very wealthy people. And they're all playing the games. And they all read the New York Times. But they spend a really long time playing the games.
Because, like, to be fair, they have a series of like really compelling daily puzzle games.
Their puzzle games. New York Times has always had great puzzles.
Yeah. But like
but now it's
Connections.
actually making them, it's actually
like
getting eyes.
Wordle was a
Not-
huge hit.
Yep.
Connections is just like a good thing to. I start my workday by playing Connections, and it's like it's a good way to just kind of sit at the desk, do a bit of a brain teaser to kind of like just get into the flow of things,
Yeah.
and then start working. So it'll be kind of interesting to see like what the New York Times next game step is. Are they gonna focus on this more? What are they gonna do?
AC Wraith does say there are a ton of environments in Warframe.
Yeah, well, you'll only be able to smell forest.
It's
So
all
that
forest. isn't
that
it?
desert, you won't smell it. Anything else, you won't smell it.
And he also said, meanwhile, money was just spent on a monitor. You citified Silicon Valley waste site folks wouldn't know about that.
Mm-mm.
So when are you getting your new monitor, AC Wraith? What's the story on that? Is it just not happening or what? Or because I know that you're really challenged right now without a monitor, which is a terrible, terrible thing.
Oh, that's right. What are you playing on? What are you watching us on right now? Are you still using the old CRT? Because I remember that was like kind of on the fritz last week.
He says second stream died on my end. Well, that answers your question.
Did the stream die or did the monitor die?
What I want to know is how is it that you've had a CRT just on hand? I
Yeah.
consider myself quite the pack rat for monitors, and I don't even have a CRT anymore. So move on to your next story. I have to pee because I just drank a whole bottle of water, so I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll vamp until she gets back to talk about like the actual good ending one. But for now, hang on. More Dragon's Dogma 2 news. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a headline for this. Isire says my monitor's supposed to arrive Friday. Now it might be next Wednesday. Oh, Friday to Wednesday. Okay, that's not too bad of a delay, although that's kind of a sucky delay because it's surprisingly big. But in Dragon's Dogma 2 news, the sequel is selling more than the original, which is a bit of a low bar, but also it's nice to see that such a weird game is selling pretty well according to its expectations. Basically, in 2 weeks, the sequel has done twice as much as the first game did in its first month. So it's outpacing it by about 2-1, I'd say. If it's in two, if actually no, that'd be about 4-1, I think, mathematically. If it's sold twice as much in half the time, it's on track to sell 4 times as much in a month, which, as someone who really, really likes the game, it's nice to see that the game is selling really well. And it's also nice that Capcom is one of the few publishers that actually regularly talks about sales numbers for its games. Yeah, let's see. So on April 2nd, Capcom announced that Dragon's Dogma 2 sold 2.5 million copies worldwide since launching on March 22nd. And apparently the first game sold around 7.5 million since coming out in 2012. No, in 2012, not 2012. So yeah, the second game is really, really racing to catch up. Which, like I said, it makes sense because that first game was a bit of a cult game. I mean, even when it came out, I didn't play it. I only played it years after the fact. Like I talked about on the podcast, playing Dark Arisen just last year. So not a high bar, but also 2.5 million in like 2 weeks is not something to cough at. Like that's a pretty good number, especially for a game like Dragon's Dogma that, you know, it's a big game for Capcom, but it's also not, it probably didn't cost the same $300 million that Spider-Man 2 did for Sony. So I think it'll probably be a profitable game, all said, which is nice. And now that Edie is about to come back, we can talk about the good final story, which is a tale of 2 CEOs.
Okay.
So Phil Spencer did an interview with Polygon where he basically talked about the state of the industry and like, hey, what's going on? What's going on with Microsoft? Like everything is shit. Why is it shit? And he goes on to talk about like how the cost to publishers have increased, like the cost to produce like a big AAA game means that publishers don't want to take as many risks. Previously, like in years past, it was a lot easier to determine like the cost of a game. Let's see, he said, am I willing to take the risk? What is it? The cost is particularly prospective, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and he says like the console market has not grown and that increases the risk. And he keeps talking about exclusives, right? Like, oh, we can't afford to do exclusives. But I think the more interesting part that he says is when asked about the layoffs, if this is part of a wider trend or if there's something unique about them for Xbox, he says it's a little bit both. But I'll say the thing that has me most concerned for the industry is the lack of growth. And when you have an industry that is projected to be smaller next year in terms of players and dollars, and you get a lot of publicly traded companies that are in the industry that have to show their investor growth, because why else does someone own a share of someone's stock if it's not to grow? The side of the business that then gets scrutinized is the cost side. Because if you're not going to grow the revenue side, then the cost side becomes challenged. We're a business. I've said over and over, I don't get the luxury of not having to run a profitable business growing inside of Microsoft and where we are today. And then he kind of goes on and on. And he said, I keep pivoting back to how does this industry get back to growth? And it's interesting that he keeps harping on that point. And he keeps harping on it specifically in how it relates to shareholders. So again, good old Stephen Totillo. Fucking Totillo, like being the journalist we all deserve. He has an interview with Larian that was released just today. And in it, he talks with the Larian bosses about like all this stuff too. Oh god, I scrolled and I lost the quotes. Yeah. So he basically a lot of the people, the Larian CEOs are like they're more optimistic about the state of the industry because they said, um, like with Baldur's Gate 3, they distinguish between marketing and communication. About how like they didn't do a lot of marketing for Baldur's Gate, but they did communicate. They talked about the game. So quote, we didn't really do a lot of marketing. People talk about the bear scene has a big marketing beat, but it wasn't that. It was communications because the bear was just something they showed off at a convention. It wasn't in any marketing. And so he says like hyper engaging games will always do well and always be able to sell on PC. On console, things are more challenging because of live service games, but there's never been a better time to create hyper engaging games for PC. Totillo then asked, why are there so many layoffs? And one of the guys said, it's incorrect to believe that huge companies are run necessarily by incredibly intelligent people. They're like school buses, with very, very wide turning arcs. It's an oil tanker. They're very hard to steer. In this industry, it's becoming increasingly important to act very quickly and react very quickly if you want to be opportunistic and succeed. These companies don't have that benefit. He said predictability is the only reason large companies can operate. Everything's planned out, everything's predicted. In video games, it's very difficult to predict things. So what's the fallout? Essentially, it's layoffs because they're too hard to say. And one of the things, layoffs, they are an avoidable fuck up. They really are. That's why you see one after the other, because companies are going, well, finally, now we can too. We've wanted to do it for ages. Everyone else is, so why don't we? And let's see, where is this maybe true? They don't have to. Yeah, none of these companies are at risk of going bankrupt. They were just at risk of pissing off the shareholders. And that's fine. That's how they work. That's the function of a public company, right? It's not to make a happy climate for the employees. And he also, Totillo said, so Larian's never going public? And he's like, no, we wouldn't. But it's
Good for him.
It's an interesting contrast to show that like all these layoffs in the industry, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an actual industry problem. More that it's a perception problem driven from shareholder demanding constant growth. And Spencer is like, look, man, I'm at the helm of one of those companies. I need to show this growth, so we need to lay people off. But for someone like Larian, who doesn't need to do that, he can easily speak from the perspective like, yeah, no, all this is avoidable. Like, we didn't need to lay people off because we're not at the demand of the shareholders. Our demands are the gamers and the product. And like, I think between these two interviews, it kind of, I think, helps to look at all the layoffs from a different perspective, that it's not necessarily an industry issue. It's an industry with like shareholders in the issue. It's that these companies are focused on the shareholders at the cost of everything else about the industry.
Right.
And
that is what I have said to you multiple times, is that going public is the worst possible thing you can do for a company. You could have a fantastic company, but when they go public, all of a sudden everything goes to shit because all of the investors expect to see a 20% growth in the revenues every single year. They expect 20% growth. And it's a frustrating thing because 20% growth is not sustainable year over year in ad infinitum, and that's what they want. And B is that investors don't care that the economy has tanked. Investors don't care that everybody has lost their jobs. They don't even care that it is not realistic that there be a 20% growth because of, like the state of the economy or interest rates. They don't care. They want 20% growth, whether it is a boom economy or a bust economy. So in a bust economy, that's when the companies are forced to lay people off because it's the easiest way to increase the amount of money you can show, revenue that you could, not revenue maybe, but the amount of profit, the net revenue that you can show is to make a bunch of money and then cut your staff, because that cuts the cost of goods. It cuts the cost of making those things that you make money on. And it's a frustrating thing for me as a gamer, because of course I'm not who they're looking at as far as who they're doing stuff. And it's
Xbox is
frustrating
not
to
making
me.
games for you.
Not making games. They're here to make
Not
money,
making
not make
games
games.
for me. They're not making games for any of us.
Games are a
despite what
widget.
Phil Spencer
It's
says.
all widgets. But that's number one. But number two, which also frustrates the fuck out of me, is that as an investor, it's causing companies to make bad decisions for the companies and for all other companies and for the economy, because there's other investors who remember the good old days from the early days of the tech boom, when you just picked any stock and it was going to increase by 300% by the end of the year. They have an unrealistic, unsustainable opinion of growth, and they don't even know it. There is so little like self reflection of what they're demanding from the companies and from the CEOs. What they're doing is they are fucking the companies, they are fucking themselves, they are fucking the economy, and they are fucking the consumers. And what they're asking for isn't fucking realistic or reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's it's a combination of, going public is a bad idea, but it's really comes down to who's the bad guy? The shareholders are the bad guys. The activist shareholders that are trying to take over Disney, even though Disney has been the strongest it's ever fucking been, and they still want to try and get rid of Bob Iger.
That's just Ike Perlmutter being a petty dick and like the guy hating wokeness.
Right.
It was just another culture war battle.
But this is the kind of mentality that gets you an entire world of companies run by Bobby Kotick.
Yes.
Because Bobby Kotick made profits every year, year over year, growth. That's what you get. And did he make good games? Arguably, no. Was he a good person? No, definitely no. Not even argument, just a terrible, terrible person. Did he make people miserable? Yes. Did he make people commit the S word? Unalive themselves? Yes. Yes, he did. And that is the investors making decisions, unsustainable, unrealistic expectations of all of the companies that they invest in. And that is my little 2-second soapbox rant, is investors need to cool their fucking jets, because 20 years ago, back in my day, 20 years ago, they didn't expect that kind of growth.
Yeah.
Now you all grew up with, you buy a stock and it goes up 1,000%. That's not how it works. You just got lucky over the last few years.
I think specifically what it is too is it's tech. It's the techification of all stocks. It's why movie studios all tried to make their own streaming services and like nearly bankrupted themselves, because they're like, oh, we'll make our own streaming service, and people treated movie studios like tech companies. But they're not tech companies. They can't show year-over-year growth because, hey, sometimes you put out Barbie, sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you put out Skipper. It just happens that way.
Exactly. like they can't be tech companies.
Mhm.
But for a while there was this big techification of everything, almost killed Hollywood. Thankfully, they got over it, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it, just put our shit on Netflix. We don't need our own. We don't need our own streaming service. Just put it on Netflix.
Yep. And it's something that is changeable. It is something, the one group of people that could absolutely change the way that they think and change the future of all business is investors.
Yeah. And so, like, over the past several months, like especially with all the layoffs, like we've been hearing the Phil Spencer side of things so much. And I think it's really, really good to get the Larian side of things, to show that, you know, the Phil Spencer perspective is not the entire industry. Like the whole industry isn't like that. Oh, we need to show growth, and so we need to lay people off. Like the
Well, it's
Larian
not the
side of
whole industry, but it is all the whole industry of publicly traded companies. Hello?
yes, it is.
Look forward to
It
Reddit
is.
starting to suck hard
Oh yeah.
real
No,
soon.
don't worry. In like a year, Elon Musk will buy it and he'll turn it into another fascist hellhole.
Hope so, because I bought stock.
Oh, in
I bought Reddit.
oh,
Little teeny
okay, that's true. If you had stock in Twitter, you would have cashed out when it became X. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the time to buy Reddit is pre-Musket. But yeah, it's good to get another perspective, to have someone actually like fight back against the Spencer point of view and say like, no, it doesn't have to be this way.
It's not Musk that's going to buy Twitter or Reddit. It's going to be Trump that buys Twitter.
Trump doesn't have enough to buy Reddit.
No, but somebody that is, yes, not him specifically, but somebody like him. That's who's going to buy Reddit.
Look,
and that's when Reddit becomes essentially 4chan. Reddit's going to get really awful. It's one of the reasons why Discord hasn't gone public yet, and I hope it doesn't, because Discord going public is going to be awful.
Look, it will. It's the enshittification of all things. It will, and you know what? There will be something else that comes up that everyone will flock to.
Yep, and people are going to be making competitors for it to fill the gap when it inevitably fails because it can't hit that 20% every year growth year over year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be doing it just to sell it to Zuckerberg or somebody else.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my good story.
Okay, good. Because yeah, that's all I've got.
So I'm really glad I told you about what a Yugo was. Do you remember what a Yugo was?
Yes, it was a car made by not Ukraine. Was it Ukraine?
Russia.
Russia? Yeah, it was like the worst car ever made.
Mm-hmm. Russia decided to compete with Japan in the 80s and release their own compact car that was like laughably bad. And yes, they exported them. And yes, there are some of them still around. Well, I had to explain it to you because I'm a child of the 80s and I remember an Yugo. And guess what? You should, if all things go the way that Vladimir Putin would like it to go, you will have your own Yugo to explain to your young folk in another 30 years. Vladimir Putin made an announcement this week, and he issued a mandate to the Russian people and to Russian businesses. Produce a Russian video game console.
That's
to
right, I saw
compete
this.
with the PlayStation and the Xbox. This is according to a report from the newspaper Kommersant. The order was handed down from the Kremlin to, quote, consider the issue of organizing the production of stationary and portable game consoles and game consoles. Russia can't even keep their tanks from falling apart, but they want you to have their own, to want to create a game console for Russians. How likely do you think that games are going to be released on that are Western games?
Oh, none.
Yeah. So essentially, they're going to have to not only create the console, he's going to want to create a game industry.
Mm-hmm.
So the Commerson sources also tell the nationally distributed
I don't know.
Russian newspaper.
We were just talking about stockholders. If EA could put out the game in Russia, that's another several million players that might play it.
Yeah, maybe. A Russian major tech company behind the name, the social media service VK, which is one of the Russia's social media platforms, is largely going to be responsible for the project of creating a VK box. The production of the consoles are going to be handled by GS Group, which was previously known as General Satellite. It is Russia's single largest developer of set-top boxes for televisions.
Okay.
So VK and GS is going to be responsible. GS Groups is going to be responsible for producing both home and portable consoles for Russian consumers by June 15th, 2024.
That's real quick.
Yeah. Oh, but wait, it gets more challenging. This move isn't Russia's first foray into the video game industry. They also tried to, quote, penetrate the gaming communities last year, and also thought of creating their own game engine the year before that.
Okay.
So, an additional measure of Russia's order these developers are going to be tasked with is the, quote, creation of an operating system and a cloud system for delivering games and programs to users. So all of this is going to have to be in place in a month, 2 months.
I mean, let's just buy a whole bunch of PCs and just ship them as is.
Right. So
let's
they
just
want
slap a VK logo on it and ship it.
Right. So they want the creation of a cloud distribution, an engine, a box, and streaming in 2 months. So, according to Commerson, analysts are already saying that there is, quote, no competence to produce their own PlayStation and Xbox consoles, and creating such systems from scratch will take up to 10 years. If one of those boxes come out, you damn right I'm going to get my hands on one of them and try it out. You fucking right I am. I want to see what kind of just fucked up. Where are they going to get the chips?
They're gonna make it themselves.
Vladimir Putin is just off his fucking gourd, is he not? Is he just insane? So yeah, the country that couldn't even keep their tanks running, they're gonna. Yeah, so if they do, it is going to be a Yugo. So you can tell your kids all about. Remember that gaming console? I pitched. They named the console the Yugo.
I mean, you know what? People will buy it just for the sake of having it. It'll be a tech relic.
There were people that bought the Yugo just to say that they had. I wonder how much can you buy it? Can you even buy a Yugo now? Do they even? Are there any of them still on the road? What? I'll look this up. Let's look this up.
At Cause and Bids, there's a used Yugo for sale. 3 results.
4,000. Oh, so they were originally sold in '86 for $4,000. Oh no, they just got sold for $4,000.
Yeah, well, it looks like it ended in 22.
Yeah, there was one in 21 and 22 and 20. In 2020, one sold for $6,100. There it is, right there. There's the Yugo. That's in really good shape. What year is it? 88.
Never driven.
Oh my God. Was it really never driven?
I'm just assuming so because
I mean, maybe it never could drive.
yeah.
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah, made in Yugoslavia. That's what it was named a Yugo. With the spare tire in the engine compartment. With the engine.
Oh.
There's nothing wrong with that, huh? There's no car fire. No car fire could help hurt that, could it?
No, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. With a Ferrari license plate, you got to give it credit, man.
Look, they know. Anyone that's buying it is just like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I know. It's a joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I'm gonna put it in my garage next to my Ferrari.
Some modifications
to complete my collection.
Yep. 1.5. Oh, they did a Fiat engine swap on this one. How bad is your car when you actually swap the engine for a Fiat? You know what Fiat stands for? Fix it again, Tony.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Fix it again, Tony. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So anyway, that's something to look forward to. Is your Russian game console / cloud streaming / cloud distribution / game engine. What else did he want in 2 months?
Easy as grabbing a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, no problem.
Nah, just get a Playdate.
That's not grabbing a Super Bowl ring. That's grabbing a Super Bowl ring, NBA ring, World Series ring, just all the rings.
No, I think he meant getting a Yugo. Buying
Oh.
a Yugo is like buying a Super Bowl ring.
Bet.
Oh, where are you going, Shepard?
All right. So yeah.
Anyways, I did find one more like good news story,
Okay.
like positive.
Okay.
Sean Murray, the head of Hello Games, who made No Man's Sky, is celebrating a 1% improvement in Steam reviews because they are now at 78%, which is so close to very positive. It took them 5 years to get to 70%, which is mostly positive. And now they're at 78%. He says that, where is it? Mathematically, each percentage point is much harder to gain than the last. I never thought it possible, but guys, we might hit very positive one day. So, hey, go for it. Keep chucking along. The game is good. And yeah, I hope
Like Embracer Group, do not
hope they
count
get
out anybody who's willing to fight to the end. Don't count them out. Don't underestimate them.
that's true. Maybe Embracer will get very positive one day.
Uh,
Although first they have to get mostly positive.
First, they have to get get off of mostly negative.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They've
They've
got
got
a
a
ways.
long way to go.
They've got a ways.
Got a ways. But it can happen. Never. As long as you're fighting, there's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for giving everybody second chances from horrible failures. He said, "I meet the console. Putin might have delusions of difficulty."
Might.
Yeah, a little bit. So, all right. Anything else before we close out the show?
No. I think that's
I can't
pretty
think
much
of any.
everything.
Are we playing tonight?
We can because Rachel's having dinner with a friend, so I'm free tonight. We can now that the automatons are destroyed, we can go back to killing bugs.
So,
Or we-
question: Why
or we
don't
can
you want to go see
Go back to killing
Goalie?
each other.
I mean, you
Oh.
saw the price of those tickets, right? I could get a price of tickets
I did. It's not
under
that,
like 100 and what was it, $150, $250
yeah,
round trip.
because it's not the cost, it's the time. It's the travel.
It's
It's
just
that-
it's like 3 days. We're just gonna go out, visit Goalie, say hi. Sharon just retired.
Oh, nice.
Take her out to dinner. We can all get sloppy drunk, sober up, and then get on a plane and go home.
But it's such a long plane ride. I've been traveling every month this year, and it's like, God damn it. I just want to stay at home.
But it's Goalie. That's different. Traveling to go see Goalie is something very different than traveling to Florida to be with family. Not that that's not fun, but it's a very different experience.
Yes. What days were you looking at?
It's like second week of May.
I mean, it depends. I don't even know. I don't know what we're doing that. Also, like, I don't want to take time off from work. Like, if it's over the weekend, that's really good.
No, it's not over the weekend. It was like a Wednesday through a Saturday.
Oh, God damn it. Just gotta make it as inconvenient as possible.
It's when the flights are cheap.
That's why they're cheap.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's not. It's not the cost. It's not that I don't want to see him. It's just that, oh, God, I'm exhausted from travel. I don't want to travel. I don't like airplanes.
Really? I love airplanes.
No.
So much fun. How would you not enjoy air travel?
Because
It's magic. It's like a chair in the sky. How would you not like that?
Because I gotta sit, because it's a tiny chair. It's not a particularly comfortable chair. And it's like I have to pre-think of like, okay, what do I want to do in this chair for 6 hours?
We could go business. Spend up a little and go business.
Sure. Still
And then
6
it's like
hours.
essentially just a food fest from one side of the country to the other.
No, it's not.
Have you ever flown business before?
Yes.
It's nothing but food. They just pump food and booze down you the whole time.
It doesn't all that cost extra still?
Once you're on business now, business class, you have a massive seat. You put your feet up. And then they just feed you. Like granted, this was a shorter flight from Hawaii to San Francisco. They started feeding me from the minute I got on the plane with an amuse-bouche and a glass of champagne. And I didn't stop eating until 20 minutes before arrival in California.
Is that higher than first class?
Mm-mm. It was a 5-course meal.
What airline?
Alaska.
I never got.
It's a 5-course meal between Hawaii and San Francisco.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
What airline did you fly that you were on business and they didn't feed you?
We did first class on United out to Florida last time.
Really?
And yeah, it was. If that was like, hey, this is the first class experience, don't ever pay for it.
Oh my God.
At least not for United. Don't pay for it for United because it's so not worth it. It's just
United first class going to Hawaii is off the hook. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the seats we had were like, they were a little bigger than you'd get otherwise. The seats didn't have a TV in them, so I couldn't watch anything.
What?
Yeah. Seats didn't have a TV in them, couldn't watch anything. I would have had to use, yes, I would have had to use my tablet, but I didn't download the app ahead of time, so I couldn't.
That's not first class. I would have demanded my money back because that's not first class.
Well, we flew United back, not first class, and the seats did have TVs in it.
Yeah.
It was a matter of the plane, not the seat.
You got a shitty plane.
Yeah. So you know what? Fuck all of that. Just sit in the back by the toilets.
No.
All flights are the same.
You've got a shitty plane. You got a really
all flights are the same and they all suck.
No, not all flights are the same, and no, they don't all suck. So San Francisco business class, SFO to Boston menu. Let's see. First class food and drinks, which you get essentially first class food and drinks in business class. So first class food. doesn't really. That's all pre-orders. It doesn't really say what the menus are, but you get like full on like knife and fork meals, and Alaska, like I said, coming back from Hawaii. Granted, it's usually first class is a little elevated coming back from Hawaii, but for coming back, Honolulu to San Francisco on Alaska was a 5-course meal with a menu, and they're like, you sit down, and it started with an amuse-bouche and a glass of champagne, and then they did not stop service until 20 minutes before landing. You finally got through your dessert. It was 2.5 hours of eating.
Sure. You know what? But I could also do that at a restaurant and have a better seat.
But it was really good.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
sure
were
the re-
flying.
I'm sure the restaurant would be better.
Yeah. Yes. United. United doesn't. Yeah, I believe United does have all Boeings, but that was obviously one of their older planes that was pre-movies. I should say back when movies were drop down, displays. That plane should have been retired, which is one of the reasons why I don't like Hawaii or don't like United. They have kept many of their planes on way, way longer than they should have. Way longer than they should have. That's why you always want to look at your equipment. You always want to look at not only the equipment as far as the make and model, you definitely want to look at the tail number as much as you can. And you can research to find out what's the likelihood of which tail number you're going to get. And then look at that plane. And if it's a plane that was made in the 70s, then you might not want to take that plane unless it has been retrofitted and upgraded.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a lot of goddamn effort just to make sure the experience doesn't suck. It's like, wow, I got to put in a lot of work to get from suck to not suck.
No, it's not that hard. But United, I have never been on a business class flight, United or otherwise, that didn't have all of the amenities. You got shafted, is what happened.
Yeah,
you
and you
one
know what?
time,
I'm gonna-
and that's probably why those seats are available, because you didn't buy those tickets. You upgraded, right?
Maybe. I think Rachel did it at some point.
Yeah, I guarantee.
But you know what?
And that's why nobody wanted the first class.
I'm holding it against the entire industry.
I'm going to make you take a good flight one of these days in business. And you know when that's going to be? May, to go see Goalie.
I got to take it off in the middle of the day.
Middle of the week.
Yeah, middle of the
You're
week.
taking off at crack of dawn.
Oh, God. You're really not doing a good job selling this.
It's $100 on one way. Actually, if we take business class, then yeah, we might as well go anytime we like.
Yeah, you're really not doing a good job selling this.
If we go business class, we'll just go for the weekend.
That doesn't help much. I still got to travel.
Get over yourself, asshole.
Just invite him on the podcast.
No. We got to go out and see each other. It's been years since we've seen Goalie.
So if we go with Edie, you want him to do the research.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's why whenever we fly, I just let Rachel take care of it. I'm like, okay, you do it. I don't want to have to deal with planes and all that shit.
What time do we want to get to play tonight and stream?
I don't know. What's a good time for you? I'm gonna go have some leftovers, and then I'll be ready. What time is it now? It's 5. It's 7.
Okay. 7 p.m.
Yeah,
right here. I don't feel like doing a closing out.
Just gonna click end stream. Bye. Click.
Yeah, I think I am. I did an intro. I've done my due diligence. That's enough of me, you people, you vampires. No. Yeah, I don't feel like doing an outro, but yeah. Okay,
That's
7
how I
o'clock.
feel about planes.
7 o'clock on Twitch. We'll be here. And yes, I will start. And Nick, you have to remind me to do that.
Okay, I will remind you to stream this time.
Thank you very much. Meet Edie and Nick here on Twitch. So if you aren't on our Twitch channel, please go over to our Twitch channel. You can find us under the GameHounds over on Twitch. We are going to be streaming Held Up Razors 2, and we're probably going to get into another fight, but actually probably more obscenity laden than we do on this show.
I don't know. Hellraiser 2 is a very different type of game.
Oh, not Hell Razors, Hell Divers. Hell, yeah, we are going to be Hell Razors, but we're going to be doing it in Hell Divers too.
I would play a Hellraiser game.
All right. So, thank you so much for watching the channel. I'm not going to close this out. I'm just going to go. But if you need a turkey and you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, you know where to find me. You can just send me a message on YouTube or on Twitch, or you can email me at GameHounds at gamehounds@gmail.com. I have a bunch of turkeys to get rid of. Most of them are 8 pounds. A couple of them are 20 pounds. So yeah, I either have very, very, very small turkeys, very, very large turkeys. They're all heritage breeds, heritage pasture raised, heritage breed turkeys that I need to get rid of so that I can sell some deep freezers. So if you want one, you know where to find me.
Just say the word turkey.
Just say the word turkey and just say the word turkey 3 times and click your heels together and I'll be there. All right. AC Ray, thank you for being on the show. Everybody else who was listening, thank you for being here. And we will talk to you at 7 p.m. Pacific. That's 10 p.m. Eastern on Twitch tonight for Helldivers 2, Nick and me and 2 other unfortunate people that will be stuck with us. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.
I'm going to save their asses. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to come in like a god. Thank you, audience.